JR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray Music app and listen wherever you go.
Have your sports curiosity cured.
That might all be about to change now. Berger to Nusa. Support from Muller-Wolfer. It's taken him less than half an hour to score his first ever World Cup goal.
A veteran of the sports reporting game for over 25 years.
Springer hits it a long way to left, and it's gone. Career home run number 300 for George Springer. And a big smile on his face as he is circling the bases. It is 6-1.
Breaking down Edmonton's favorite teams.
Messi. Gonzalez. Back to Messi. Messi! His first World Cup trick. And it's a record setter. One of one. Never to be replicated. Lionel Messi stands alone in Argentine lore, and now tied with Miroslav Klose the most goals in the World Cup.
This is Sports 1440 and the Kevin Karius Show.
All right, here we go for Saul 690 Thursday, June the 18th. Hey, man, someone turned the tap off up there already. We've had enough of the wet stuff around town. Maybe a couple more showers today, and we'll see what happens on the weekend. Hopefully, it clears up for Saturday afternoon in the Double E game against the Montreal Alouettes to kick off the home portion of the CFL campaign for the green and gold. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440 AM radio, on your AM radio dial, on your morning drive into work, wherever you're heading out on a Thursday morning. So glad you could spend some time with us. You can also watch us on YouTube at Sports 1440 AM. Please drop us a like, a subscription. We're also on X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch. As always, we are streaming on the iHeartRadio, the TuneIn app, and on sports1440.ca. And if you miss any part of any show, well, it turns into the many, many podcasts that are out there. You can find them where they all hang out on Apple, Spotify, Google, even Amazon. Please subscribe, select the auto download. It's free. You'll never miss a second of any show. Yes, a hearty Thursday. Good morning. The week's just sort of zipping by, is it not? And we talked about the Double E's home opener. Yesterday, I was down at practice yesterday for the Double E. And as soon as I got there, it started raining. And then when I left, it kind of started raining again because it was intermittent. But I said to these guys, I said to Ed Hervey, I said to Mark Gill, man, oh man, this rain's just following you guys around, isn't it? And he goes, we practice better in the rain like this because we know that we're going to get it. I mean, think about the game in Ottawa. A lot of the players felt that it was top 5 in the worst rainy conditions that they played in. But hopefully it can clear up a little bit for Saturday afternoon and we can get a decent crowd out at Commonwealth Stadium. Out west at another stadium, BC Stadium, whatever you want to call it now, Vancouver Stadium. It's Canada versus Qatar in the World Cup game number 2 for both these teams. And what a big game this is. Could it be the first win ever for Canada at the World Cup? Well, you can't get a better matchup. You can't get a better opponent. You could technically be leading the table here with a win, depending on what happens with Swiss and Bosnia-Herzegovina to follow. I mean, you could be tied with Swiss. You would think that they're going to beat Bosnia-Herzegovina, which would set up a massive final match to round out this grouping. Good news? Is it a little bit ambiguous? We'll see. But last night, head coach Jesse Marsh said, you know what? Alphonso Davies is available today. Hasn't played for a long time. He's had the hamstring injury. Basically, he suffered that hamstring injury on early May, somewhere in there. So it's been about 6 weeks or so. Now, pending a game script, maybe Davies draws in. The best case scenario is that Canada gets up a goal or gets a bit of a lead, and Davies doesn't have to play, and he could be made available for the final contest against the Swiss. Same thing for Moise Bombito. He's had that broken leg, and if you think about it, head coach Jesse Marsh, I don't know if it was a gamble, but he took 3 guys that were technically not fit to play, during camp, start of the process here, but hopeful that those guys would return from certain injuries in time to contribute for Canada at the World Cup. And that's Davies and Bombito and actually Alfie Jones as well. So those 3 guys. So now maybe it's paying off, and maybe they could be in action. As Jesse Marsh said yesterday, they're not out. The quote he said, correcting a reporter who suggested they are in. So Davies is probably the more, and everyone's seen on TSN for the most part, the practices. Well, he's not doing a whole hell of a lot, is he? But he's involved, but I wouldn't say he's going full torque. So he's probably the one where you're going, okay, well, this is a good sign, because obviously his availability is massive and how important he is to this roster. But just to finish the quote last night from the head coach, we took some risks in how we put the squad together, hoping that we could manage all these situations to give our best players the best chance to be on the pitch with us for our most important games. But what we don't want is to put our players at risk. We're trying to be very calculating. We will see what happens moving forward there. Yesterday at the World Cup, Portugal, oh boy, a draw with Congo, 1-1. I didn't see any of that game, but I was doing a little work in the office and did watch the England-Croatia game with one eyeball on. That was an exciting game. 4-2, England wins it. Haven't won, obviously, the World Cup since 1966. Maybe, you never know. Uzbekistan and Colombia, it was 3-1 Colombia in that tilt, and then Ghana over Panama by a score of 1-0. Around the NHL, well, Kelly McCrimmon, our good friend, held a little media availability saying that the rest of the league, they're jealous of the Vegas Golden Knights, of our success and how good we've been and how good we are. Everyone's jealous of what we do here. He did say that they have allowed one team to speak to Bruce Cassidy, that team, and even Mark Spector reporting later, it was not the Edmonton Oilers, obviously. I'll be honest, I really believed after, and this is from Frank Saravalli too, when we've had Frank on many times, after Bill Daly addressed the media at the start of the Stanley Cup final, he was implicating and really kind of looking towards the fact that there would be an availability for Bruce Cassidy to talk to teams, maybe all teams. And that's what Frank Saravalli said, which led me to believe, and I've been saying it on the show for a long time. I believed that there would be an opportunity for teams to talk to Bruce Cassidy, not just one, following the Stanley Cup final, only because of our discussions with Frank on this show on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And obviously Frank is going to be on here in about an hour and 10 minutes or so. But just how Bill Daly worded that. But Kelly McCrimmon is still being Kelly McCrimmon and not saying anything in the sense that the Oilers will be able to talk to Bruce Cassidy. That trade yesterday, I was kind of funny. We've had Curtis Pachelka on from San Jose. Michael Kesselring goes to the San Jose Sharks, and Curtis Pachelka writes for the San Jose Mercury, and he did the Jake Wallman trade tree, which is when you think about it, holy smokes. So the Sharks picked up Jake Wallman and a 2024 second-round pick, which turned into be Leo Salin-Wallenius from Detroit for futures. So basically, they just gave him away. They got rid of him. Had to get rid of some salary, which wasn't a whole hell of a lot. What was it, 3.6, whatever it was? So they got rid of the salary in Detroit. So then the Sharks traded Wallman to the Oilers for a conditional 2026 first-rounder, which ended up to be the number 20th overall pick, which was used yesterday to pick up and acquire Michael Kesselring, the former Edmonton Oiler, like he was a prospect in the system. And that was for the 27th overall pick from the Sabres. I'm just going through the tree here right now. So they dropped 7 slots and pick up Kesselring. Pretty good get. So from the first trade that they gave up nothing, the Sharks ended up with Celine Wallenius, Kesselring, and the 27th overall pick. Not bad. Not bad. As mentioned, I was down at the Double E yesterday. Later in the show, we'll have Malik Carney, Austin Mack, and Coach K, Mark Killam, to talk about the game going into Saturday's tilt with the Montreal Alouettes. Let's welcome in the Duke of Delburne on a Thursday morning. Did you get to play slow pitch last night, Duke?
We did, and it was wet.
I bet
it was soggy. It only rained while we were playing very briefly and quite lightly, but the field conditions were less than ideal, but the league gave the go-ahead. We actually ended up playing on an adjacent field that was all grass. Like there was a second backstop down at Malmo Plains right beside the school, and the infield, the plate was underwater. Out around the base pass was mud. Like you'd step in it, you'd sink 2 inches. So the other team and ourselves, we just said, hey, let's just go over 50 feet away and play on the second diamond that is it's a full grass field. And then, we got to kind of try and pace out where the bases are. It wasn't perfect, but both captains kind of signed off on where we ended up with the bases and said, all right, we'll give it our best go. They were a great team to play against. They were very accommodating. Ended up tied, funnily enough, after 7 innings, and the other teams are ready to take over the field from us. But we did get the game in. Okay, but you're sort of missing the question can be phrased the same, but it can be taken in two contexts. Did you play personally? Did you play, Duke? No, I didn't have to. Well, I just like in those conditions, Duke, you can't be slipping and sliding out there. Ideally not. So maybe wear your golf shoes next time. That's kind of where I might be trending, because I actually still wear spikes because they're my fastball cleats. And I just never wanted. I'm not buying another pair of cleats. So I'm technically not allowed to wear metal cleats. That's right. But I always say, listen, I never play in the infield, so I'm not worried about stepping on somebody. I'm not sliding into any bases to spike someone. So if you're conscious enough, you can do it without anybody even noticing, and definitely without having it ever be an issue. So normally I would wear those, but I'm wondering if moving forward I might just wear, because my golf cleats are spikeless ones. They're kind of like the turf style. I wonder if that might be a better decision moving forward for me. I'm working on my little gift to the Tropicana Orangeman. Really? Yeah. Wow, putting in some hard work in the lab. Working on it. Edmonton Stingers lost to the Montreal Alliance at the Hive yesterday, 95-76. Wasn't really much of a game, really, when you look at a score dictated by a 20-point difference. Usually they're a lot closer in the CEBL. Toronto Blue Jays, boy, what a performance by the Jays bullpen to beat the Boston Red Sox 3-0. This with Max Scherzer, well, he's got to be done, let's be honest. So they started Braden Fisher with a bullpen game because they had really no choice. Simeon Woods Richardson came in and was he got out of some jams. He got out of some, he gave up, I think, 3 hits and had 2 or 3 walks, but he did go 3 innings, and that allowed them to get into the pen and get a little bit more where Flew Hardy came in, and then Spencer Miles had a couple of big outs. I'll tell you what, again, Jeff Hoffman is finding his way in the 6th and 7th, and maybe he's more comfortable there. And what can you say about Louis Varland? Came on again, picks up the save, his 14th. When your ERA and your whip is similar, you're throwing incredibly well. And his ERA is under 1, his whip is under 1, and he's been just a savior for this Toronto Blue Jays team. So they'll wrap up this series at 11:35 this afternoon. It'll be Trey Yasavich and Sonny Gray. So that'll be the best pitching matchup on getaway day for the Toronto Blue Jays. A great story coming up, Duke, and we'll touch on this over the course of the morning with Austin Mack, that he told me that I never even, I don't think anyone's ever heard about this one, but I asked him who helped him along, to get to where he is. And then the name that he threw out there and you will know who it is. It's Golden Tate. So I was blown away at that. And we talked about Golden Tate a little bit in our interview coming up with Austin Mack a bit later
in the show. Coming up on the big program, we got Bruce Levine from the Dallas Stars. He's an analyst with the team. Lots going on. We talked about Maverick Bourque and the potential for an offer sheet. They got to do something with Jason Robertson. What can they do? They've got Tyler Seguin. Oh boy, lots of things going on for Jim Nill and the Dallas Stars. Mark Spector, Frank Saravalli, our double barrel shotgun hockey insiders at 8 o'clock and 8:20. We've got another edition of Cam and Eggs with Cam Tate. Paul Sir from Hoop City will check in at 9 bells. We'll talk a little bit of Stingers, maybe a little WNBA with the tempo, off-season moves, the potential for some trades, moving parts that are going on in the NBA. As mentioned, down at Elks practice yesterday, we'll speak with Malik Carney, Austin Mack, and Coach K, Mark Killam, over the course of the morning. We'll have an in or out with the Duke. Ladislav Schmid, by the way, again, in check with the under-18 team. Laddie's going to be back next week. And then it's basically, that'll be Laddie's last show next Thursday, because he'll be on his way to Czech for a full-time gig with Sparta Prague, coaching there for the next 2 years. At 10:20, Luke Easterling from Athlon Sports. He covers the NFL. So a little bit of NFL off-season news. It's that sort of that shy time where you're starting to get to the OTAs and things like that. And also we'll keep an eye on the U.S. Open all morning long. It just got back underway. Talk about fog at Shinnecock Hills on the island. You couldn't see anything, so they had to suspend play, but they're just getting back about 5 minutes ago. So we will keep you abreast of what's going on at the U.S. Open. When we come back, Bruce Levine, Dallas Stars analyst on the Kevin Karius Show with the Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. This deal's only good till 6 o'clock tonight. We need your credit card to hold the color. Hold the color. Summer package. Winter package. And the ever-famous re-PDI fee. I gotta pay you to rebuild the car? Does this sound familiar? At Northgate, we do things differently. We offer 0% financing, a great selection of new, pre-owned vehicles. So if you'd like to do business a different way, stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
Expand your brand with Fusion Promo Marketing. Fusion is your trusted partner for all things branded merch and apparel. Thousands of products perfect for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. Fusion with a Z. Promomarketing.ca.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit fountaintire.com today. The longest running basketball show in Canada airs every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440. Hoop City with Paul Sir introduces a new generation of basketball talk. And it's right here on Edmonton's home for sports. Sports 1440.
Bashaw Concrete Products. From concrete and septic tanks to blocks, precast water pads, Jersey barriers and aggregates. Farmers, contractors, homeowners. Plan your next project at BashawConcrete.com. Family owned. Over 60 years pouring. Bashaw Concrete Products. Once again, start here. BashawConcrete.com.
The big hits. The big kicks. Catch all the action at Selly's Sports Bar and Lounge. Never a bad seat in the house with tons of big screens. And Selly's menu. Something for everyone. Plus game day food and drink features. So bring your friends, cheer loud and proud, and join the fun at Selly's Sports Bar and Lounge at all 3 Century Casino locations. Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile. Every day is game day at Century Casino.
I'm Rick Showers from Noble RV, and 5 years ago, a lot of people bought their first RV. Not because they were really into the RVing, but because camping was literally the only thing you could do with your vacation time. You couldn't go on a cruise, travel was a nightmare. So you bought an RV and you enjoyed it. But now you have all your options back again. And that RV you bought during COVID might be sitting around costing you money.
An RV needs love, care, and attention whether you use it or not, right, Rick?
That's right, Bob. It's okay to declare it was the right solution for the time, but those times have changed. And you might find that an RV doesn't fit your plans anymore. And that's okay, because we can sell it for you. Pass it along to a family that would choose camping over anything else available in the world today. So bring it to No Bull RV. Together, we'll celebrate what it did for you when you needed it and what it can do for you now that it's time to move on.
And that's No Bull.
NoBullRV.ca.
Just in time for the morning skate. This is the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440.
Posture. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 721 in Edmonton, and time now for the Puck Report, brought to you by Fountain Tire. And at Fountain Tire, we take care of your vehicle and your vehicle only. Your focus to enjoy the summer driving. Worry-free. Book your appointment at fountaintire.com. Today, as we welcome back Bruce Levine, Dallas Stars analyst. Good morning, Bruce. You're with Kevin Karius. Thanks for jumping on Sports 1440 once again. Really appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having me on. It's been a while since anyone wanted to talk Dallas Stars hockey down here, so I'm glad someone wants to talk hockey.
Well, we want to talk hockey all the time. You know what it's like up here, Bruce. There's so many things on the plate of Jim Nill here. I don't know where the dominoes start falling, if that's with Tyler Seguin or if it's with Jason Robertson. Maybe give an update on those two guys, where you think the future lies with both of them with this franchise.
I'll start with the easy one first. Tyler Seguin has been working hard to rehab and come back. Tyler Seguin plays for the Dallas Stars next year. I don't think there's any question about that. I honestly think the Stars give Seguin and Ben one more kick at the can, one last chance to win a Stanley Cup with this franchise. Jamie Benn, I think, resigns. Sagan's got 1 year on his contract, so I think they each come in together and they go out together after next season. That's the easy one. Jason Robertson, that's the domino that has to fall for everything else to fall into place. And that, I'm sure, is what's keeping Jim Nill up at night these days.
Well, you just mentioned Jamie Benn. What kind of team-friendly deal do you think we're looking at here?
I think you're probably looking at $1 million, with incentives and bonuses. Jamie Benn wants to be a Dallas Star. He's often said it's the greatest honor of his career has been being captain of the Dallas Stars. He's the longest running captain of the Dallas Stars in team history. So I think he gives a team-friendly deal, about $1 million or so, sort of similar to what he had last year with bonus incentives. And you go from there. Jamie's the easy one. Jamie, there's only two options for Jamie: retirement or play again. And I think Jamie wants to win. So he's going to be back next year.
Yeah. Bruce Levine with us on Sports 1440. So when you look at Tyler Robertson here, Jason Robertson, pardon me, what are we looking at, you think, contract-wise, term-wise?
That's a good question. I think he wants the max. I think he wants the 8-year deal. That's not a question. The question is, what are the Stars willing to pay, and what does Jason Robertson's new agent think he's worth? I can't see the Stars paying Jason Robertson more than Mikko Rantanen money. If you do that, you blow up your salary cap. And don't forget, even though Wyatt Johnston is signed for the next few years, he's going to be getting double-digit millions in a couple of years when his salary is up too. So the Stars have to be very cognizant of where their cap is going forward. I just don't see the Stars paying Jason Robertson. Maybe they pay him what they pay Mikko, but if his agent is looking somewhere between Mikko and Kaprizov money, then the Stars have a problem. They have a decision they're going to have to make, because if Jason Robertson's agent wants 13, 14, 15 million AAV, that could blow up the entire salary cap for the Dallas Stars. And the precedent in the division is, Kaprizov's making 17. That's an awful big bridge to get over.
It sure is. You mentioned about changing agencies. Can you maybe go a little bit more in depth than that?
Not a whole lot. Just in January, he changed his agents. And quite frankly, I don't know if this agency, or they do work with other Dallas Stars players. So I don't know if they're very Stars friendly, or if they feel that they should make their mark here with Jason Robertson. Just whenever somebody changes an agent, this is not the same agent that negotiated Jason Robertson's last deal. And Jason Robertson was an RFA back then without arbitration rights. I don't know if this is something new, something that's going to be a hazard, or something that's going to work fantastically. But whenever someone changes agents before they get to a large salary negotiation, you always have to wonder what caused that and what path is that going to take.
Mm-hmm. Bruce, we had a couple of questions yesterday regarding the possibility of offer sheets, and one of the players that came up was Maverick Bourque. Have you heard anything about that, and do you think there's a possibility that could happen?
Maverick Bourque, I think right now is going to be you can't sign Maverick Bourque till you know what Jason Robertson's going to do, because that tells you how much wiggle room you have on the cap. Do I expect teams to make an offer for Maverick Bourque? Yeah, I do. He had a very good playoff. He's a first-round pick. This is between now and July 1st, or more importantly, between now and next Friday, draft day. Jim Nill's got to get a lot of work done. And Maverick Bourque, I think the Stars are more worried about Maverick Bourque getting tendered than they do Jason Robertson, who's also an RFA. But Jason Robertson comes with a price tag of 4 first-round picks. Maverick Bourque, that is very affordable. Look what St. Louis did, with your boys a couple of years ago. Would you take that?
You don't have to remind us, Bruce.
I mean, would you take that risk for a guy who's already a first-round pick, has played in the playoffs a couple of years, looks like he has top 6 potential for what's the going price going the other way? Absolutely, I expect someone, and that's what makes this next week for Jim Nill so important for the Dallas Stars.
Well, we were talking about this yesterday too, Bruce, in the sense of the offer sheet compensation. And you mentioned the 2 guys that St. Louis Blues went after here. Well, really, the Dylan Holloway compensation ended up to be a 3rd rounder, but that was in the second bottom tier. I truly believe, and we were talking about it with David Schlemko yesterday, I truly believe that Maverick Bourque goes into the next grouping where Philip Broberg was, and that's the 2.3 to 4.7 range for a second rounder. And I think if some team went at the top of that tier, do you think like something in a 4.7 AAV, does that put Jim Nill in a pickle here?
Well, puts him in a huge pickle. Let's face it. You're talking about, and this is something that Jim Nill talked about when the Stars traded for Nils Lundqvist. Do you give up a first-round pick or a second-round pick for somebody who's already an NHL player?
Mm-hmm.
There's as you know, with first-round picks, sometimes they pan out, sometimes they don't. And if you're a team that, you can take a chance on an 18-year-old, or you can look at Maverick Bourque's resume and look at his tape and say, this guy is a bona fide NHL player who might be on the verge of taking that next step to being a star. Is it worth it? Yes. I mean, if I'm GMs right now, I am lining up to get Maverick Bourque for whatever that kind, especially if it's a second-round pick. Oh, that's a no-brainer. Absolute no-brainer. So Jim Nill has got to get work done and get it done fast, one way or the other with Jason Robertson, because if you sign Maverick Bourque, that limits the amount you can offer Robertson. It's quite the conundrum that Jim Nill's facing right now.
Yeah, if you look at Holloway, before he signed his offer sheet, he had 9 goals for the Oilers. Maverick Bourque, I believe, at 31 goals, 20 last year and 11 before. So way different in players, how they've already established themselves in the league right now. Bruce Levine with us, Dallas Stars analyst. Hey, Bruce, before we get to a little bit more with the on-ice product, can you give us an update what's going on off the ice with the potential of an ice district, which is quite a ways away from where the Stars are right now? How's that being received, and what are we looking at here, you think?
Well, it's not that far. We're talking 12 miles. Okay. So it's not incredibly far. It's not like you're going to, it's not like we're going to Red Deer or something like that. It's just, it's a few miles. Yeah. But what people have to remember is Dallas grows outward. Like there's something like, I'm from New York. New York grows up. Dallas grows outward. And when you talk about having a 30-year lease, and the Stars are looking at moving to a place called Plano, Texas, it's really, where are your demographic? Where is your fan base? Not in 2026, but where are they in 2036? Where are they in 2041? So the Dallas Stars, the city of Dallas really sort of backed the Mavericks. They made it very clear that the Mavericks were their top priority to keep. And Dallas went shopping, and they got a great deal with the city of Plano. It's got to go through a vote in November, but I think a lot of lessons have been learned from what happened in Tempe as to how you can't sit back and let the narrative be developed by those who are naysayers. And the Stars have a plan. And if it comes to fruition, it's going to be fantastic. It is going to be a state-of-the-art facility. It's going to have hotels and shops and restaurants. It is going to be an ice district. And again, it's not about where the demographic is now, but you're talking 30 years from now. I won't be here when the lease is up, but right now, this is an opportunity to put your team and your stamp and your brand right in the heart of where your fan base is going to be 10 years from now. And the Stars are very excited about this.
Yeah, Bruce, a lot of people were talking and making the comparable to Glendale and how it didn't work because people had to go all the way to Glendale. So in your view, this wouldn't even be close to a comparison.
I actually have a working knowledge of Glendale because my oldest son went to Arizona State, played club hockey there. And I can remember picking him up at Tempe on a Tuesday night at 5 o'clock and getting to the arena in Glendale just as they dropped the puck for opening faceoff. Wow. It was a drive. There was no reason to be in Glendale unless you were going to a hockey game. That's a tough commitment to make. It's not the same thing. It's apples and oranges. Plano, like I said, is 12 miles from downtown. And, a lot of the fan base drives south to get to downtown. Mm-hmm. Yes, it needs some traffic studies. Yes, it needs to figure out what we're going to do for public transportation. But you're not talking about Glendale where there was nothing to do, no reason to be there, and it took 2 hours on a good night to get there on time for opening faceoff. It's a much different feel. And as I said, Dallas is moving northward. So this is going to be right in the heart of where the demographic is. And it's going to be what the Dallas Stars need to have long-term success.
Thanks for enlightening us on that, because I think there was a lot of, especially from up here where the knowledge wasn't as in depth as what you're giving our listeners, because a lot of people were saying, man, I don't know if this is the right move, but when you compare it to all that, and hey, man, I did a lot of games in Phoenix with the Oilers when I was doing the games, and it was hell getting in and out of there. There's no question about that. So when you explain it the way you did there, Bruce, way, way different. Bruce Levine with us from Dallas Stars with us. And just at the end of the season, how the season ended for the Stars, how would you describe it? Disappointment in the sense that, they lose to Minnesota, but are the steps in place there? Is the process in place moving forward? What was the feeling after the season ended?
Oh, there was great disappointment. The Dallas Stars felt that they had a chance to make a run, to certainly get out of the first round, and it didn't happen. There's disappointment on a number of levels. One is, didn't have Rope Hintz for the entire playoffs. Mikko Rantanen had a hurt knee, never got back to 100%. But I think what hurt the Stars more was the mental mistakes they made against Minnesota. If you look at the goals Minnesota scored, there are a couple of goals where people just threw the puck up the boards blindly and went into turnovers. And the Stars felt they were a smarter, better disciplined team than that. So the disappointment really comes from the mental mistakes Dallas made in that series to cost them the playoffs. Are things being changed? Let's see what personnel we have. I mean, I think Glenn Gullison's a good coach, and the team's record in the regular season really showed how good they were. But they realized that, the NHL playoff format's not changing. If you want to, hey, congrats to Vegas for making it to the conference final, but I'm sure Dallas would have loved to have had Utah and Anaheim in the first round, as compared to playing Minnesota. And I'm sure Colorado would have preferred not to play Minnesota in the second round, if you get where we're going with this. But the playoff format's not changing. So the Dallas Stars have to be a team. Physically, Glenn Gullitson really preached the 1%, being tougher to play in the playoffs. But I think everyone was surprised at the mental mistakes Dallas made in the postseason. And that's something that's going to chew at them. And Jake Ottinger put it perfectly. He said, my goals last year were to start in the Olympics, win the Vezina, and win a Stanley Cup. I didn't win any of those. This year is a disappointment. This year was not good for me. So if the Stars go into the offseason with that attitude that this was not good enough, they're going to come back an angry and hungry hockey team, which is what they need.
How would you evaluate, Glenn Gullison's first year there?
First of all, okay, I got to caveat this. I like Glenn Gullitson. His daughter and my son played square hockey together, so I used to stand up against the glass with them and watch the kids play. I think Glenn Gullitson did a good job. He really did. Stars had a lot of injuries. The point total stands for, the Stars went at one point went 14-0-1. They had a good season. They ran into a lousy matchup in the first round, but you've got to be give overcome that. I'd give Glenn Gulson a B plus because I'll give him higher if they had gotten out of the first round. But when you lose in the first round for the first time in, you're used to 3 straight Western Conference finals, and the thought was you're going to go further. It can't let me give him an A, but he's great at communicating. The team likes him. The veteran group in the locker room accepts him and preaches his message to the room, so they're all on the same page. I think Gulson did a fine job. The one thing he can't do is when you tell players don't throw the puck up the boards blindly, and they do it. And it results in goals and results in turnovers, and you get caught up ice. Is that on the coach or is that on the players? I mean, we all know hockey. You don't throw pucks up the boards in your own zone blind. You don't do things. You don't pinch at the wrong time. There are players that needed to step up and didn't.
Or if that happens, like it happens here, the coach gets fired, Bruce. That's how it works.
Well, yeah, it's you can't fire 20 players, right? You got to fire somebody.
Yeah. Hey, what's the summer look like for you, Bruce, here? I know obviously we have, the draft and free agency and things like that before that, but what's it look like for you here in the next bit?
Well, the Stars don't have a first round pick. So I'm not expecting to be incredibly busy next Friday. I think July 1st is going to be kind of interesting. It really, I'm doing a radio show Saturday, and we're going to have Jim Nill as a guest. So that will, I'm really interested to hear what he has to say. But for the Dallas Stars, I think this is going to be a very calm summer until we know what's going to happen with Jason Robertson. And then either you try to bring in some pieces, or man, if they determine Jason Robertson to be unsignable and you've got to go the trade route or something like that, things could get very interesting here very quickly.
Yeah, we were talking about Carolina, and I'll get your comment on what they're doing and what they're doing moving forward. You mentioned Dallas with the 1 pick. Between Dallas, the Oilers, Colorado, and Vegas, they have fewer first-round picks than the Carolina Hurricanes have in the next 3 years, and they've got a Stanley Cup in their back pocket too. What do you think of Carolina's run here, Bruce?
You know what? I thought they were excellent. You look at, they were the best team. It's sort of funny how in the East, the team with the best record got the best path to the Stanley Cup final. Yeah. It's sort of funny how that worked perfectly. So if the NHL wants to make that argument, you can make it, well, it looked fine for the East. But the way Carolina had depth, that second line was fantastic the entire playoff. When you look at the depth they brought out, and they made some great moves. I mean, how the Rangers couldn't fit Keandre Miller in their defensive scheme boggles the mind. And Carolina is great at pouncing on things. They knew they weren't going to keep Mikko Rantanen. Dallas had several prospects that, Carolina could have taken in the trade. They picked the right guy in Logan Stankoven. So give them credit. But look, tip your hat to Carolina. They played a great brand of hockey. And for me, they won the Stanley Cup in period 3 of game number 3. When they were down 4-0 and they came back, even though they lost the game, Vegas realized that when Carolina plays at their level, they're better than Vegas. So I give Carolina full marks. And if they've got more draft picks and more people coming, yowza, watch out. They're going to be tough to beat for a long time.
Well, as you said, that second line of Carolina's was the best in the playoffs, and they're locked in for 2 more years, all 3 of them together for $14.2 million. How would you like to have that, huh?
Well, I'm still trying to figure out why Chicago's eating half of Taylor Hall's salary. I mean, I know you wanted to get rid of him. Did you really think he was that? It's funny because the 2 players Chicago traded away at the deadline a couple of years ago, Seth Jones was big in Florida. He played to the level he's capable of playing when he got to Florida. And Taylor Hall played at the level he was capable of playing once he got to Carolina. So maybe it's Chicago and not players that they picked to be their superstars. But man, both those deals, the teams, Florida and Carolina took these guys who were pedigree players and got them back to where they were supposed to be. Kudos to them.
And the Rantanen, the deal that didn't work out for them that they wanted ended up working out for them, as you said, with Stankoven. So
yeah, I can't, and I don't think Dallas regrets it. If Rantanen is healthy last year, who knows what happens? But when you watch Mikko Rantanen play on a night in, night out basis, you know he's the best player on the ice. And that's no insult to Wyatt Johnston or Jason Robertson. Just time slows down when Mikko has the puck. Give Carolina credit. Marty Natchez was a great player, but somehow they turned that deal into something better. And maybe that's why, Eric Tulsky is the GM of the year. Maybe that's why.
As always, Bruce, thanks so much for your time this morning. Really appreciate it. Have a wonderful summer after the draft and free agency. And obviously want to thank you for all your contribution to the show this year over the course of the hockey season. As always, thanks for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having me on, Kevin. And if anything goes crazy, you know where to find me.
You betcha. Yeah, that's Bruce Levine from the Dallas Stars radio analyst team, and our puck report brought to you by Fountain Tire. And again, we take care of your vehicle and your vehicle only. Check them out at fountaintire.com. When we come back, we'll get to some of your texts at 833-401-1440. It's the Kevin Karius Show with the Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Are new McCafe crafted sodas just drinks or something more? Like Sprite Berry Bliss, Creamy Strawberry Coke, and Orange Dream. All swirled with fizzy flavor and topped with silky cold foam. Only at McDonald's. At participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada.
Today on Hey Culligan, how smart is your water? Here's Tracy.
Hey Culligan, I think my water might be dumb.
Good news, Tracy. Your water's not dumb. It's just not talking to you.
You can make my water talk.
No, but the new Culligan Smart Drinking Water System can talk to your phone to tell you when your water filters need changing and help you meet drinking water goals.
Now that's some brilliant H2O.
You said it, Tracy, and we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test from a local Culligan water expert at culligan.ca.
I've got some good news. If you've been thinking about a heavy-duty truck, the 2026 Ram 2500 Black Express is now at St. Albert Dodge. You've got 20-inch black aluminum wheels, black Mopar side steps, body color, bumpers and grille, and a sport performance hood. Available in all the colors for $68,990. Plus, new this year, Ram's best-in-class 10-year powertrain warranty. Now's the time. Head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Tee up at the 2026 Golfathon presented by Popeye Supplements tomorrow at Rundle Park, supporting the University Hospital Foundation. Play as much or as little as you'd like. Play 1, 2, 3, even 4 rounds of golf. GoTrackSocialClub.com.
A Saskatchewan boy who grew up loving and playing sports. At least we think he grew up. Listen to Kevin Karius weekday mornings from 7 to 11 on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
Heard of Uline? You know, the have-it-all in stock, ready to deliver shipping and industrial supply specialists. The company that does things for you that are unheard of, like keeping 41,000 items in stock in our own warehouses. With customer service reps on the line to get you what you need when you need it 24/7, 365 every time. Maybe you heard it here first. Want to hear more? Visit uline.ca. ULINE, your shipping and industrial supply specialists.
For over 60 years, the folks at Diablo Boots have been selling the best Canadian-made boots. Handcrafted in Winnipeg, Canada West makes the best quality cowboy, biker, and work boots for Diablo Boots with replaceable soles and heels. Why buy cheaper quality like Ariat, Justin, and Red Wing made in China when Canadian-made is better? Support Canada's workers and Diablo Boots for the best boots. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Canada West and Diablo Boots, the two best names in the boots business.
Have your sports curiosity cured with the Kevin Karius Show. This is Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 7:45 in Edmonton. Sort of from the request line, Duke. That was requested, and that's one of your buddy's first ever singles songs.
I guess so.
I don't know.
I
It's a
can't
great
say.
one.
I like it. It's
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard it before.
Hmm.
That's a good one. Thanks, Cam.
Yeah, Cam sent
a
that.
rare play
I
this
remember.
Thursday.
Oh, it's a great one, dude.
You remember that?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I
I didn't know it was one of his first.
Were you
ever.
playing this at your local sock hop or what?
Probably junior high. Do you know? Does it say when you have the thing?
Junior
up?
high when you were going to the Paragon and your
Yeah.
bottomless popcorn bucket.
Oh,
But not
easy. Come on now.
Not bottomless in the traditional sense.
Yes. Yeah, the old Paragon Theater. Text 833-401-1440. Kelly McCrimmon not getting a lot of love on our text line. BC owner
really?
says, Kelly McCrimmon really wants to be the most hated man in hockey, doesn't he? Well, the most hated man in Edmonton for sure. Jerry says he's a dick, let's be honest. Mark sent this one in. Hey, Kevin, if things don't go well for the Oilers in the next month, would you be comfortable starting the season with Ekholm Bouchard, Wallman, Regula, and Emberson Stastny as your three pairs? Would I be comfortable? I would be terrified, frightened, because that blue line ain't getting it done. Sorry. And no disrespect to those guys, but they're not slotted in where they should be. I was surprised yesterday, Duke. Were you surprised about David Schlemko's adoration for Alec Regula, saying he believes he could be a second pair guy down the road?
Surprise, no, because this isn't like Schlemmer has mentioned it many times throughout the season when we saw Regula playing more meaningful minutes, and it was often the discussion. And you and I at different points agreed and disagreed with him, saying like there is an element to Regula's game that a guy like Ty Emberson doesn't appear capable of reaching, right, when it comes to like poise with the puck, moving the puck. But it's about some of the decision making and whatnot that seems to still maybe hold Regula back slightly. And Emberson, I thought, had himself a fine season. I thought he really continued to grow and evolve into a very capable third pairing defenseman. Now, if he's your number 6, then Regula is not your 5, right? Which is where all of a sudden when you talk about the fear factor of this potential top 6 being your decor, I'm right there with you. Like that. And to be very frank with you, Kevin, I don't think Jake Wallman is a second pairing defenseman. And the price tag might tell us that he is, and Oilers fans are kind of just starting to get a little bit of overcoming their long living nightmare of Darnell Nurse being overpaid. Well, I think you're kind of, if you find a way to move on from Darnell Nurse in whatever capacity it is, my opinion on Jake Wallman is that you're just replacing that problem with another one where you're going to have a guy overpaid now, and he's less capable of playing higher in your lineup.
So two things here, Duke. Like when you talk about Regula here, I had an old friend when we did stocks together, and I say, "Hey, buddy, I got this stock at 50 cents. She's going to go to $2." And the first thing that he said to me was, let's see it get to $1 first.
Yeah, and that's a great analogy.
Okay, so for Alec Regula, let's see him be a third pairing defenseman first.
100%.
Okay, so that's the analogy there. When you talk about Jake Wallman, he's never going to have a better opportunity here to be a second pairing defenseman with Darnell Nurse out of the picture.
100%. Like that was the long time blockage on the left side of your D group.
You think about how Stan Bowman, with his asset management, with this signing of the Wallman contract, he is going all in at 2 LD. And the trade request, which was forced by Stan Bowman, the trade request with Darnell Nurse leaving town. Stan Bowman is going all in with Jake Wallman as his second pairing left defenseman to start the season. You can't even put it in more simpler terms than that. He signed him to a long-term deal before he needed to sign him to a long-term deal. He signed him at that figure at $7 million. And now with Darnell Nurse out of the picture, depending on if there has to be some salary retention, whatever it is. But going into this season, without question, your second left-hand defense pairing guy is Jake Wallman. Who's his partner? Don't know yet. Could it still be a guy like Connor Murphy? Yes, there's a possibility. But You are basically taking Jake Wallman and putting him into Darnell Nurse's spot and saying, Jake, these 22 minutes or whatever it is, 21, 22, 20, 23, these are your minutes now. 833-401-1440. Jane Victoria says to Duke even. Duke, with the Oilers offer sheet Maverick Bourque. Well, we talked about it yesterday, Jay. Right now, the Oilers can't offer sheet anyone except for their tier 1 guys, which is below $1.5 million, and guys that are in the highest offer sheet compensation, which is above 11.9, technically $12 million. They do not have the assets as far as draft picks moving forward. So could they acquire draft picks? Well, they did it before where, I think even they had to pick up a draft pick for Dustin Penner years ago to make that qualify, not the offer sheet for Dustin Penner. So they don't have any assets to do any offer sheets for anyone in tier 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6.
Kevin, they can actually in the second, technically the third tier.
You're right, Duke.
The 2.3 and change to the 4.7 and change one, which is a second round pick compensation in 2027.
My mistake. Yeah.
Yeah.
I went over that one.
Which in your opinion is kind of where the Maverick Bourque player lies
at 4.7.
At 4.7.
My mistake.
My question about the chances of that happening for a Maverick Bourque or another similar type player is, can you afford to do that? Like, I get that the number doesn't seem very high, but the Oilers are a team that has a lot of other obligations, and keep in mind they need a new second or a new left-handed defenseman in some capacity, and also you need, if you want to bring back Connor Murphy, what's that going to cost? I can't see them putting forth $4.7 million. And we talked about this yesterday. At that range, I see Dallas matching it and kind of trying to do their best to figure it out. I know we just chatted with Bruce about it. I think at 4.7, the Stars are matching in a heartbeat.
The Oilers have some cap space. They do, but they have to figure out what they're doing with their most pressing needs, which is their right defense and really their goaltending. Moving forward, who knows what their plan is moving forward with their goaltending. Yeah, my mistake, Duke. I just missed that one on the third tier. So.
And you talk about the Oilers' priorities. Like, is their priority another undersized scoring forward that plays in your middle six? I don't see it. But crazier things have happened, certainly.
King of Fort Nasty says, good morning, KK, Duke, and Finney. Had to bring up the offer sheets, eh? That hurt Oilers Nation worse than the time the Duke went for the full Brazilian wax. Is this true, Duke?
No. I don't know if the King's ever been further off on something. I've never had any sort of wax. You, Kev?
No.
Not, you haven't got your back waxed or something like that in your advanced years?
No, I haven't. I don't know.
That doesn't, you're not worried about that when you're doing your tarps off runs around Laurier Heights, that you got the carpet going down the shoulders?
No, I don't have to worry about that, Duke, but I do, I'll do the manscaping. I think a lot of guys have the manscaping down, but I don't have to worry about any
on your back?
No, just on the chest.
Okay.
Just on the chest. Just on the chest. What are you talking? No, I'm not. There's a few other. I do some maintenance. Every guy does maintenance.
You gotta have maintenance.
You have to.
You have to.
But I don't have to worry about the wax.
There's no questions. You gotta have.
Oh
maintenance.
God, this is going to get out of control on text line now for sure. 833-401-1440. Coming up in the 8:00 hour, we got our double barrel hockey insider shotgun with Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet, followed by Frank Saravalli from Victory Plus TV. Also straight ahead, man, we've got 3 great interviews coming up with head coach of the Edmonton Elks, Mark Killam, wide receiver Austin Mack, and defensive end Malik Carney. Those will be coming up over the course of the morning as well. Before all that, time now for a Sports 1440 update. Brought to you by Sean Cunningham of Remax Real Estate. Get the home team advantage for your next move in the Edmonton area. If you're thinking about buying or selling a home, call or text Sean directly at 780-265-0165. That's 780-265-0165. Here is the Duke.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
World Cup action yesterday. Portugal finishes with a draw against the DRC, 1-1 from Houston. Middle of the day, England, 4-2 winners over Croatia to open up their schedule. Harry Kane with the brace in the match and became England's all-time leading scorer at the World Cup. Ghana blanked Panama 1-0 in the nightcap. Colombia defeating Uzbekistan 3-1 from Mexico City. In case you missed it, NHL off-season news yesterday. The San Jose Sharks acquiring defenseman Michael Kesselring, along with the 27th overall pick in the upcoming draft from Buffalo in exchange for the 20th overall pick. Kesselring, of course, a former defenseman in the Edmonton Oilers organization. The PWHL 2026 entry draft went yesterday, and at number 1 overall, the Vancouver Golden Knights selecting Olympic gold medalist Caroline Harvey out of the University of Wisconsin. Second to Seattle went Abby Murphy, and following in order, Tessa Janicki, Layla Edwards, Lacey Eden, Neela Leighton, Emma Paschal, and Kirsten Sims, NBA offseason news. Washington Wizards star Trae Young plans to decline his just under $49 million player option and become a free agent on Monday. Washington still in the running, according to sources, to re-sign the All-Star, but would be on a new deal. Local basketball, the Edmonton Stingers from the Expo Center last night fall to Montreal 95-76. And in the majors, the Blue Jays on a bullpen day blanked the Red Sox 3-0. Strong efforts across the board. Simeon Woods Richardson picking up the win with 3 innings of work. Elsewhere, the New York Yankees beat the White Sox 10-5. Cubbies beat the Rockies 8-6, and Baltimore getting past Seattle in the nightcap 5-3. Finally, the Edmonton Riverhawks down in Wenatchee last night fall to the Apple Sox 9-5. And the U.S. Open is underway from Shinnecock Hills on Long Island. Fog delay kept some players off the board, but the current leader is Graham McDowell. He's 2 under through 2 holes. Coming up in hour 2 of the Kevin Karius Show, we'll be joined by Sportsnet's Mark Spector, Frank Saravalli from Victory Plus TV, and here today's edition of Cam and Eggs. I'm Brandon Douglas, Citrus Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
You don't just need property services, you need problems handled. HireGood provides cleanup, debris removal, site monitoring, and safety attendance across Edmonton. We reduce issues on your property, keep spaces safe, and take pressure off your team. We resolve real problems for businesses while creating real impact because our team is built on second chances and they show up every day ready to prove it. Visit hiregood.ca or call and mention Jason Greger for a first-time discount. HireGood. Stable jobs create stable lives.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Center. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Center has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
Don't let equipment failure stop you cold. At AWS Welding in Nisku, our factory-trained service techs are on hand for all welding equipment repairs. We're a fully warranted center for Miller, Lincoln, and ESAB. And we service all makes and models. Proper, regular service extends the life of your gear and keeps it running at peak capacity. Don't wait for a breakdown. Book your service appointment today at 780-979-0470. AWS Welding. We make it happen.
Hi, Edmonton. Fuel prices are climbing, and Subaru fights back with the all-new, all-electric 2026 Trail Seeker. With up to 444 kilometers of range, fast charging, legendary Subaru symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive, the Trail Seeker is built to help you go further. And when summer adventure calls, it's ready with towing capacity of 1,587 kilograms. Test drive the all-new Trail Seeker. Visit your local Subaru dealership today and seek every trail. Welcome to Uncommon.
Barbecue season. Nothing like a great steak. Which reminds me, Metal Supermarkets has even created custom grill tops for rusted old barbecues. Just one of the many special requests they've received over the years. You'll be amazed what their skilled crew can do. Barbecue grills to grills for classic cars. Sky's the limit. Speaking of sky, that's a lot of smoke up there. Now, fire in the hole. My steak. So long, sirloin. Metal Supermarkets, the local convenience stores for Southside, West End, metalsupermarkets.com.
Sports 1440. All sports, all day.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Thanks for listening to Edmonton's sports leader.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 8:01 in Edmonton, and time now for On the Mark. Brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC, where you can lease Chevy Trax for $80 a week. Almost doesn't seem real. $80 a week. Absolutely everything is on sale right now at Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC to get you road trip ready for the summer. Northgate GM, your road trip headquarters. Check them out at northgategm.com as we welcome in Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet. Good morning, Spec.
Morning, Kevin. How you doing, man? What's going on? Got a big soccer game today. Excited about that?
Yeah, four bells. So looking forward to that. And you know what? Canada's never won a game.
4 o'clock game. That means I got to pretend to be busy all day before 4 o'clock comes. I like it when it's like at 1.
Well, what do you mean pretend to be busy?
Well, that's what I mean. I got to pretend.
I see you got another fake picture behind you.
Yeah. Well, as opposed to real pictures.
Well,
what am I supposed to go to Wrigley Field and do my hit from there? Or what?
No, I liked it when you were outside in the outdoors. You're not made of sugar, big guy. Get out there.
Yeah, I know. I guess I should start getting back out there. It's just
how's the reception right off the pier, off the dock? Like, is it okay?
No good. No, can't be on the water here. I'll run out of Wi-Fi out there for sure.
You play any more of that Saskatchewan card game yesterday or what?
No, I didn't at all. I was Schalke was a little disappointed that you never heard of it.
Have you ever played the Mexican Train?
Oh, yeah. Played the Mexican Train. Yeah.
Okay, so that's what we're going to play. We'll play that this summer. How's that sound?
Sure. Yeah, we played Mexican Train somewhere along the way. I'd have to relearn it a little bit, but that's kind of the story of my life anyway.
It's not that hard, Spec. You match dominoes.
Yeah, I think I could do that. Yeah.
Except the only problem, Spec, is when you have 6 bottles of wine and a 6 turns into a 12 for you.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, remember that time we played crib and we had about 6 bottles of red with Chuck and Laura, and we were having a little trouble counting. How's that sound?
Yeah, I remember that. I'm trying to remember when we got home that night, but it was a long time ago, so it's okay to forget those things by now.
Yeah. As my old buddy Chad Rutsky would say, it was a night I'll never forget. Were you there?
Were you there? Oh dear. So we're into the throes of summer here.
Yeah, it's kind of you think about it. I don't know why it feels, obviously the Oilers went deep the last 2 years, but the difference was, remember like 2 years ago, it seemed like the Stanley Cup final ended on a Wednesday or whatever it was, and then the draft was on Friday. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm off by a day, Tuesday or something, but
whatever. There was no time in between for sure. So this is how the other half lives, right? When you imagine if you didn't even make the playoffs. The Oilers only got an extra 10 days or so after the playoffs started, and they were out. We don't have to think back too long to the days when the Oilers were done by American Thanksgiving. That was a really long off season, my friend. So that's just the way it is. You got to play a little bit longer. You got to get a couple rounds in, or by now we're starting to get bored talking about the off season, and the off season hasn't officially begun yet.
What'd you make of Kelly McCrimmon yesterday addressing the media?
Very, very on brand for Kelly. He said people are jealous of us, and that's to some extent for sure true, because they're good. Vegas wins games, and it's all about results, man. That's to me, we sometimes forget about that in sports. It's about how many W's. If Stan Bowman wins the cup here, he's going to go down as a good GM. If he doesn't, he's going to go down as a bad GM. And no moves he makes in the middle are really going to change that. So, it became clear over the course of the day that the team that they allowed McCrimmon or Cassidy to speak with was the Toronto Maple Leafs, not the Edmonton Oilers. And it became fairly clear that they're probably not going to allow Cassidy to speak to the Edmonton Oilers. So it's time for, I guess they're all in on Babcock at this point, because it seems very much that Cassidy, despite the fact that he has been working Vegas himself, trying to, get let go, so to speak, it doesn't look like that's going to happen to the Oilers anyhow.
I'm pivoting now too, I guess. And as I've told you, and you've heard what Frank Saravalli said on this show regarding what Bill Daly said, a little over 2 weeks ago, and the fact that once the playoffs are over, it's going to be different. Well, it is different because the Golden Knights allowed him to speak to one team. It just wasn't the Oilers. I think the way Bill Daly felt, and maybe the way that Frank felt that was insinuating, was that it was going to be to more than one team. Maybe, and again, there's really only team one out there after, again, Vegas names its coach. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, by the time Kelly McCrimmon, finished their playoff run, the Vegas Knights finished the playoff run, and Kelly decided, okay, I'll let him talk to somebody. There was only two teams left, and one of them seems like a non-starter, right? Like Vancouver already hired their coach. Who was the other team that hired their coach out there? I thought there was somebody else now.
You mean Laviolette?
Oh, LA Kings. The LA Kings already hired their coach out there. So, he said, sure, go talk to Toronto. Well, Toronto, I guess, wasn't a fit or whatever. But I know this. Cassidy wants to coach the Oilers. The Oilers want Cassidy to coach the Oilers. And Vegas is standing in the way, and they're not getting out of the way. So it sounds very much like the Oilers are not going to get their wish this season for sure. And frankly, the timing is off here, because you got to hope that the guy, whoever you hire in the next couple of weeks here, is still going to be your coach next season when Cassidy's available to you.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, if I'm, and he might not even get to this, but I always think, you always think, Spec, when the players put a little bit of cash on the board, if they're playing an old team or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yep.
If I'm Stan Bowman next year, the first Vegas game, I'm throwing a whole pile on that board. Saying you guys go out and that's what I'm doing. If I'm the GM, that's what I'm doing. I don't know.
I mean, it's not. I don't really get it. Like, I just, I don't. It's very junior hockey-ish to me. Vegas is,
But Kelly was like that in Brandon, Spec.
That's his roots. That's where he came from. It seems very, frankly, insecure that, oh no, if the Oilers get Cassidy, they're going to beat us. Well, go look at the last 3 years of Vegas-Edmonton matchups. Edmonton beats you most nights anyway, to start with, with whoever they had for a coach. So it's petty. He's doing it because he can. And no one's saying he's not entitled to. The contract's there. The NHL lawyers have looked at this thing and said, there's nothing we can do. So he has the right to be, a bit of a, and that's what he's being. And that's his right to be that.
Yeah. And him and, like Ryan Craig, they go back well over 25 years.
Okay.
Because he was in Brandon, right? And Kelly was in Brandon. And, when I started covering the Western League, even before, like it was in 92 is when I really started covering the Western League, when I was working in Prince Albert, and Kelly was getting going at that point. But I mean, they had Bobby Lowe's and guys like that in Brandon, and like Chris Dingman played in Brandon, guys like that talk about it. So
yeah, Hey, listen, he ran a hell of a show there, and a good team, and they were, an excellent organization, and same with Vegas.
Mhm.
Like, hats off, Gavin McCrimmon runs good hockey teams, man. There's no one disputes that. It's just this is just a little needless. I'm not sure how this makes Vegas a better team or gives Vegas a better chance. Like, I just don't get how Cassidy's supposed to walk in the door and really walk in the door in Edmonton and somehow really harm Vegas. I don't get it.
I don't think anyone does. How do you think, the league has stood behind, what the Vegas Golden Knights are doing, saying they're in their full right to do so. But do you think that Bettman's going, come on now?
Yeah, I do. I think that Bettman and Daly would both be like, really, is this something you really have to do? But listen, Kelly's got in our society today, man, it's about the contract. And what did Cassidy sign, and what are the clauses in that contract? And it's clearly stands up. Like, the NHL lawyers have looked at this thing, and you can tell by Daly's response and Bettman's response that they don't have a legal leg to stand on. If and nor does Cassidy's agent, right? Cassidy's agents looked at that contract too. You don't hear anything out of the Cassidy camp saying, "Oh, they're doing us dirty, and they're right? They're in a position that they're putting us in an illegal position." Nobody's complaining because they wrote the contract. Cassidy signed the contract, and now everybody's living by the contract, and that is fair. Right?
And we get so
it's not traditional. It's not traditional in the NHL, but it's fair.
And again, the language of the contract, no one knows exactly what it is. We get texts like we just got 2 or 3 right now. Bang. Can Cassidy walk away from his contract? Can he leave his contract? Can he just quit? Because that's the way it goes. Because then
there's a non-compete in his contract.
Everyone would just quit then. That's how it would work.
Well, yeah, like what it means is, effectively the clause is in there so that at the trade deadline, he can't just quit Vegas because they're having a bad year and go work for the Oilers because they're having a good year.
Exactly.
So that's why that clause is in there.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's been in lots of different contracts where teams allowed the coach once fired to go off and have an open slate of teams to talk to. Like, most teams ignore that once they fire their coach. The Vegas Golden Knights aren't ignoring that after they fired their coach. They're respecting that clause in the contract. And again, it's their right to be that way. We all have moments in our life when we have to make a choice whether we're going to be a nice guy or a not very nice guy, and you choose accordingly.
Think anything will happen with Darnell Nurse this week? I think I asked you that yesterday too, Spec.
Well, it's certainly out there, and there's certainly, the market's got to be getting fit here. Like, it's got to be. This is a different trade. This isn't just, this isn't just player for player. That this is clearly, obviously, a player. There's a salary dynamic here that makes this a way different trade. You're trading a $6 million guy that makes $9.25, and you don't want to retain. So I would say to you that if I'm looking to trade for Darnell and I like the player, I'm trying to figure out the market out there. Like, I'm trying to figure out how much can I ask the Oilers to retain? Can they retain and I give them a crappy contract back? Do I have to give them real players back? It's got to be harder for Stan Bowman because the field, apparently according to Elliott, Nurse gave them a field of 3 to 5 teams. Well, that's not a big market, because out of those 5 teams, there's 1 or 2 of them that will just say no thanks.
Yeah.
So he needs to create a market for this guy to be able to maximize return. That's how you do it. And this is a particularly tough trade because you've got a player that is quite well overpaid. So that it's taking this long doesn't surprise me. This would be for Stan Bowman to escape this trade and have everyone say, hey, you know what? That's not a bad deal for the Oilers, all things considered. That won't be easy. Okay. It won't be easy. It's not an easy contract to trade.
We were talking about it earlier too, Spec. Stan Bowman is going all in on Jake Wallman, believing that he is the second pairing defenseman, all in. And to be honest with you, maybe in I don't know. This depending on how Matthias Ekholm continues his play, to feel that he can go into the number one slot on the left side too. Do you think he can do that?
Well, there's certainly the feeling around the Oilers this year is that Ekholm's got to play a few less minutes, and Wallman is going to play more minutes, no question. And let's assume that Nurse isn't part of this thing. Those are your top two left side guys, almost certainly. So, this is a team that's aging a little bit, right? Like Ekholm was the perfect number two. Like Ekholm was a legit number two man for Bouchard for a long time. All of a sudden, they're looking at him and going, maybe he's starting to get a little older and he can't carry the minutes that Bouchard plays. Because you want to play Bouchard how many minutes, Kev? 20 even strength minutes a night. Maybe you're looking at Ekholm now and saying he's only probably good for 16 or 17 even strength minutes a night. So where are those minutes coming from? How are you going to parse that up? Are you going to mix your pairs up in the course of a game and give Wallman some shifts with Bouchard? That's not something that usually happens. So, yeah, and then, of course, with Wallman, it's all about being hurt. When he plays, when he plays a steady game, I don't mind him. He can play. He can be a second pairing defenseman for sure, but not from the trainer's table.
No.
Right? Not from the trainer's table.
Well, Spec, what do you got on tap today, big guy? Is it raining out there?
Sorry?
Is it raining out there? It's raining everywhere off and on.
Yeah, every hour it rains, whether we need it or not, right? you just like lawn's getting pretty long because I keep saying, it's almost dry enough to mow.
And then it starts raining. I looked at that last night. I was thinking, okay, better not. All right, maybe tomorrow.
Yeah, no, I'm at that stage too here. So I need about 4 hours of no rain so I get the darn grass cut.
How much grass?
It better happen before 4 p.m.
Do you have one of those riding mowers out there?
Yeah, no. I went batteries.
Really?
I went battery. I decided enough small engines in my life. So I bought a blower that's a battery, and then I bought a lawnmower that's the same brand that's a battery.
Wow. He's got enough power for all the grass you got to cut out there?
I don't have much grass. It's not that big of a lawn. So, yes, I got plenty of power. I run my little batteries out of the, I got tired of small engines, man, trying to make them every time start and oil and frig and this and that. And
you got to service them, Spec. You can't just.
I don't want to service them, buddy. That's the point. First, A, I don't want to pay some guy to service them. And B, I'm sick of servicing them myself. So I'm a battery guy now. I'm into the 2020s, buddy. You should try it sometime, Ken.
Never. Gas, man. Gas.
Yeah, gas. Yeah, gas is cheap these days.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it costs more to fill up your lawnmower nowadays than it did your car 20 years ago.
Yeah, well, at least Danny's giving us $100, so that'll help.
That's right. Thanks, Mick. We'll talk to you tomorrow, big guy.
Right.
Mark Spector on the mark, brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet GMC. This truck's for you. When we come back, Frank Saravalli from Victory Plus TV on the Kevin Karius Show with the Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM Radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Everything is going to be okay. If you're feeling the weight of too much debt, you have options. I'm Dan McDicken, a licensed insolvency trustee with Faber. Becoming debt-free is possible, and a personal bankruptcy or a consumer proposal will get you there. Schedule your free Faber Focus session at faber.ca today. You'll learn how a consumer proposal will eliminate your debt by paying a percentage of the amount owed without interest. At Faber, we've got your back.
Summer weekends in Alberta mean one thing: tournament season.
I brought the folding chairs. I brought the sunscreen. I brought the umbrella, just in case.
But who brought the snacks to get through a doubleheader?
I got Alberta's best beef jerky.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky. The ultimate sideline fuel. Whether you're cheering on the kids or watching the pros, load up on Alberta's best beef jerky.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky, because you can't have summer fun with salad. Only available in Leduc.
That's right. You don't have to wait, because Black Friday is back at the Brick. For 4 days only, you can shop incredible deals throughout the store. Get 60% off sofas when you buy the matching love seat or chair. Save 25% off bedroom and dining furniture. And get up to 40% off select mattresses. Some exclusions apply. See store for details. Hurry in. These Black Friday deals end Monday. Shop in store or online at thebrick.com. The Brick, saving you more.
At Hughes, it's all about getting in and out quick and clean. No cash, no problem. With Hughes' new tap and wash system, all you need is your debit or credit card to get your vehicle sparkling clean.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
This jersey was worn by the legend himself, signed and everything. You can't just wear it. I'm framing it with expressions and images.
Your prize jersey deserves better than the closet. Think expressions and images. Your local custom framer since 91. You name it, we frame it.
With Play Alberta, backing the home team goes beyond the bets. That's because your picks have provincial impact. Play Alberta is the only app in the province that puts all revenue directly back into supporting programs and services that Albertans rely on every day. By investing in the General Revenue Fund, every play, bet, and buy made on Play Alberta helps make a difference across the province. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
I'm good to go. With Mortgages to Go, you'll be good to go. MortgagesToGo.ca says yes when the banks say no. That's why Alberta has trusted Mortgages to Go for over 23 years. If you need cash and have equity in your home, you're approved instantly, guaranteed. Call 1-888-888-5998. That's 1-888-888-5998. With Mortgages to Go, you'll say, I'm good to go.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Equipment Auction is this Friday at 9 a.m. featuring articulated dump trucks, backhoes, excavators, forklifts, graders, loaders, packers, reclaimer, skid steers, telehandlers, turf mowers, plus commercial trailers. Info at maauctions.com.
The longest running basketball show in Canada airs every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440. Hoop City with Paul Sir introduces a new generation of basketball talk, and it's right here on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's next Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Industrial Auction is this Friday at 9 a.m. featuring a large selection of 2020 to 2014 Caterpillar, John Deere, and Volvo articulated dump trucks. Info at maauctions.com.
Stories, guests, and insights. This is Sports 1440 and the Kevin Karius Show.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 821 in Edmonton. Time now for the headliner of the day, brought to you by Mr. Rooter Plumbing, stepping up to the plate so you won't have to. For all your plumbing needs, go to mrrooter.ca as we welcome in Frank Saravalli from Victory Plus TV. Good morning, Frank. How's the day going for you so far?
Pretty good. How are you, Kevin?
Oh, good here. Is it busy for you, or how would you assess it? Your volume, everything else, after the season's ended here.
There's a lot going on, from coaching searches to, well, I guess just one coaching search now to a lot of the names have begun flying around in the trade market, and you talk to different teams and you're trying to suss out what's real and what isn't. And so it starts to get real interesting right now.
Is the trade market, would you say it's like heating up since the Stanley Cup final ended, or how would you?
Yeah, it is for sure. We're in that window now where teams are talking and on the regular couple times a day. So it is heating up for sure. I think there's a lot of teams that are hungry to make something happen. There's just so few difference makers out there that it's sometimes easier said than done.
Yeah. What would you say the temperature is for a guy like Darnell Nurse across the league right now?
I'd say it's, I don't know about temperature, but I'd say it's been steady. I'd say that there's a few teams that are interested, all at sort of varying price points, that it really depends on how Darnell Nurse sees this playing out. What kind of field has he opened this up to? We still haven't really drilled down on a list of teams yet. And look, I think it depends on what the Oilers want to get out of this. Do they think they can get Darnell Nurse off their books cleanly? And if not, what price point, if any, would they be willing to retain on?
So if you were the Oilers, how would you prioritize this trade? One, getting all of the $9.25 million off the books. Two, a player that's, a live body with some retention. Three, a little more retention with something else, a sweetener. How would you kind of level that out, Frank?
I mean, it depends who you're dealing with, right?
Yeah.
To be able to think about the specter of players that you might be able to talk about. My priority would be to get as much off of the books as possible. And if I need to retain 2 million or so, or whatever that number is, that'd be the number that I'm comfortable with leaving as dead space, because the dead space is not going away. It's going to be there for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
I'd try and minimize that number without having to add anything into the deal.
Yeah, that's the hard part, I guess, here. So, I mean, as you say, there's different ways to navigate this, which is going to be interesting to see how this team moves forward. Frank Saravalli with us, Victory Plus TV. What did you make of Kelly McCrimmon, his address to the media following their playoff run, and how it involved the Oilers here?
Not surprising is what I would call it.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly he and George McPhee believe that they've got the best run organization in the sport. Just ask him, he'll tell you.
Yeah.
So that part also isn't surprising. Part of what he's saying is not wrong. Why are fan bases jealous of the Golden Knights? It's because of the success that they've had. They haven't had very many down moments in nearly a decade now on the ice. 9 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
They're embarking on their 10th with their 5th head coach. So it also gives you a bit of an insight into how they're guiding everything, which is pretty ruthlessly. I've commended them, given them their flowers. They have a heck of a thing going. At some point, I would have to believe that no matter how smart you are, how good of a talent evaluator you are, there will be a price to pay. Ultimately, the Pied Piper, he gets paid. I don't know when that's going to be, when the Golden Knights hit a spot where they can't possibly trade their way out of this anymore, and they don't have enough younger players coming in to turn things over again, which will lead to a period where they won't be competitive, but it's not anytime soon. And I think Jack Eichel also hit it on the head when he said that there aren't many players in the league that would have Vegas on their no trade list. That's correct, in part because of Kelly McCrimmon's point that you have an authentic chance to win if you go to Vegas. History's proven that. 3 cup final appearances in 9 years is no joke. 5 conference final appearances in 9 years is incredibly impressive. Doesn't mean that they treat everyone perfectly, but that's part of running a business.
Yeah, I think a couple of weeks ago, Frank, when you were talking about what Bill Daly said, what would happen after the season with the Golden Knights potentially, looking at green lighting teams to talk to Bruce Cassidy. Did you think that this is how it was going to work out, where they said we're going to go team by team basis? Like, they said we're going to give you one team right here, whatever that team was. Obviously,
I think it was always team by team basis. I think if Toronto had called earlier on Bruce Cassidy, that they would have gotten the green light.
Mm-hmm.
Toronto had Bruce Cassidy available to them, and they chose to go with Jim Hiller. They didn't really go deep down the road with Bruce Cassidy. Yeah. So this was always exactly what I thought it was. And from Jump Street, what I reported on, which is the Vegas Golden Knights are trying to block a division rival from getting better. They're trying to ultimately eradicate Connor McDavid from Edmonton. That's their plan. Have this year go sideways. Maybe you can get him out of your division forever. Mm-hmm. That's the thought process. Whether they're going to say that publicly or not, that's what it truly is. And I believe that to my core.
Well, everyone was surprised that Jim Hiller got hired in Toronto. I assume you were too.
Yes. I mean, his name wasn't mentioned once by one person at any point throughout the process. Did not see him on anyone's list. He wasn't reported. I think that was part of it, that the Maple Leafs wanted to see who could keep a secret. And in the end, I think what's fascinating about what we've seen so far from just a very small window into how Keith Pelly is redoing the Leafs, they don't really care at all about public perception. They hired a coach whose record is just okay, who displayed a lack of creativity on the bench, but certainly is receptive to analytics and is someone who believes his personality can set him apart from his competitors. Not a yeller and screamer, which I think was important for them as well. But then this trade that they made with the Flyers with their goalie swap, and even just the decision to bring in John Chayka as a whole with Matt Sundin, they don't care what the public's saying, which means to me, it's going to go one of two ways. It's either going to be fantastically brilliant, or this is going to be a crash and burn. It's obviously way too early. We need a couple years to figure out what that's going to look like. But what does that mean for the NHL draft in 8 days' time? If they don't care about public perception, does that mean that Gavin McKenna is still their guy, or are they unafraid to think outside the box here and maybe go down the Ivor Stenberg path?
Frank Saravalli with his Victory Plus TV. You had a recent article about buyouts, and we talked about it on Tuesday with Kokaniemi in Carolina. He's at the top of your list, many lists. Is that gaining a little bit of steam since the window opened yesterday here that we're going to see?
Yeah, I don't think the Canes are dead set on doing it today in the middle of their celebration. Their parade is Saturday. My guess would be at some point next week, the Canes get together with Kokaniemi and make this official. I don't see a path in which he gets traded with that contract. I don't know why you'd take on that risk knowing that he could become a free agent here in a mere days. So I believe that will happen, and just a matter of time.
We had discussion yesterday, and we just had Bruce Levine on from Dallas, an analyst with the Stars, about what's going on there. And the name that we brought up yesterday, Frank, was Maverick Bourque and the potential for an offer sheet. Do you think we're going to be, and not just saying Bourque, but do you think there's going to be a lot of that action and a little bit of offer sheet going on here, after the draft?
I'd be surprised, because it's hard to really concoct something with teams having so much cap space that makes it attractive for both sides of an offer sheet. Now, could you offer sheet Maverick Bourque, a relatively consistent 20 goal scorer, obviously undersized? Could you add him to your team and make the Dallas Stars say no? Yeah, just offer something in that $4.5 to $5 million a year range. They're not going to be able to compete with that. But is that the most? What I come back to in a case like Bourque is that the most efficient way to get the player? Are you just easier negotiating a trade with Dallas? Same thing with Robertson. A lot of people have said, hey, well, Robertson could be an offer sheet guy. And I'm going, how?
Yeah.
You're not going to trade 4 first-round picks for Jason Robertson. So why would you jack up the cap number to a point where you're going to have to pay more than you would if you just traded for him? So the acquisition price is less, plus then the actual contract price is less. Let the situation with Robertson and the Stars play itself out, because last time I looked into that file, those two sides hadn't really closed a lot of ground, and the Robertson camp is pretty set on what they think his value is.
And what is that?
I believe that with the rising cap, they think he's somewhere in the $14 million a year range.
Wow. That's going to throw everything out of whack there.
Yeah, it's not hard to argue with it. Look at the cap environment on a long-term deal, 14 for a 2-time 40-goal scorer, 100-plus point player. 14's, it's not out of the realm. It's certainly in that window. But the Stars have been way more in line with, hey, we'd like to keep him, but we need him under Mikko Rantanen's number.
Well, I just looking, at the compensation, and you said between 4.5 and 5 for Bourque. So that's right in the middle of that third tier compensation, a la Phil Broberg. So if they go to the top of that tier, like the Blues did at 4.7, which is a second-round pick. That would you say, depending on what happens with Robertson, or
Yeah, if they're not keeping Robertson, then they have all the room in the world to re-sign Bork.
absolutely, yeah.
So again, you have to wait and see how this plays out a little bit.
Mhm.
And also, like, just a reminder that you can only sign people to offer sheets that actually make it to restricted free agency on July 1.
Right.
So he has to not have a new deal by then. And if I'm the Stars, what I'm doing is getting very close with Robertson and knowing what that number is going to look like. And then I'm coming back to Bork and putting on the full court press to sign him before I get the Robertson deal done completely and announced.
Just a couple quick ones here, Frank. Just got a text in. Craig in Red Deer says, morning, guys, with Bo Byram on the move. Anything that you think could happen with Nurse there?
I don't think anything related to Nurse. No. Here's the situation with Bowen Byram. I believe he's unlikely to re-sign in Buffalo. And the reason is not what you think. He likes the Sabres, likes his teammates, likes the team and their vision and opportunity to win. And it's not a selfish thing with Bowen Byram at all, but he believes he's ready for more opportunity in the NHL. He thinks that he can be a number one defenseman.
Yeah.
And watching him play in the playoffs, by the way, I couldn't argue with that. But in Colorado, he had Cale Makar in front of him. And in Buffalo, he's got Rasmus Dahlin and at times Owen Power ahead of him. There's not really a path for him to be that guy that's getting number one power play time, that's impacting the game 25, 26, 27 minutes a night. There just isn't that runway. And so if the Sabres decide to keep him and he plays out the last year of his deal, I expect him to go to free agency. They could do that because they're a good team, but also because they're a good team and they want to get ahead of it, they might be able to add some more pieces to that group by trading Bowen Byram now with 1 year left on his deal, when he could extend somewhere else, when he can go and be that guy.
Yeah. And one last one. Patrice Bergeron's going to have his number retired next year by the Boston Bruins. Not very often do we see a guy start and finish his career with the one team. Almost 1,300 NHL games. Where do you rank this guy in all-time Bruins lore? Because there's been so many great players, but a lot of those players played for other teams too. And then in the sense of all-time defensive players with all the Selkies and obviously a first ballot Hall of Famer in my mind.
Yes and yes. I would say, where do I rank him in terms of all-time Bruins? I would say
it's a tough one, isn't it? You know, there's so many great Boston players, obviously, with
I would say he's 4.
Yeah, 4.
I'd say, and I don't know which order, but I would say that I have Orr, Bork, and Shore ahead of him.
Eddie Shore, former Melville millionaire.
So, I mean, he's in that neighborhood for sure. Like he's like Phil Esposito, great Bruin, but is he an all-time Bruin?
Yeah.
I mean, just fair questions to ask. Johnny Busick, great Bruin. Like Milt Schmidt, like there's a lot of really good players. I think he's in that top 5 and really well-deserved. And I love the way that they did it. Did you watch the video? How they
I didn't see the video, no.
Oh, you should check it out. It's not very long, but they spoofed him like, hey, we need you to do this promo video. And they sent a camera crew to his house. But then they had Johnny Busick, and then they had Rick Middleton, and Cam Neely was there, and Terry O'Reilly. They're all there. They knock on his door and let him know, like, Cam Neely says, hey, what do all these guys have in common? And it's, hey, they're all in the rafters. You're now joining the club.
Oh, I got to check that out. That's going to be so cool to watch.
Yeah, pretty cool. And he got emotional right there on his front step.
Can't see why he wouldn't be. Yeah, for sure. Frank, always good stuff. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next week, big guy.
You too. Thanks, Kevin.
Frank Saravalli, Victory Plus TV, our headliner of the day, brought to you by Mr. Rooter, knocking your plumbing problems right out of the park. That's mrrooter.ca. When we come back, we'll get to some of your texts, 833-401-1440, maybe an addition of Cam and Eggs. Maybe we might hear from a Double E member that we talked to yesterday at practice as the Green and Gold get ready for the Montreal Alouettes on Saturday afternoon. It's the Kevin Karius Show with the Duke of Delburne. Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
There's still time to book your tournament at the Ranch Golf and Country Club.
As one of Alberta's top tourney courses, the Ranch makes hosting fun and easy for any group or business. No matter how unique or unusual, they'll accommodate your vision for an event no one will soon forget.
Start planning your tournament today at their beautifully landscaped course on the outskirts of West Edmonton. On-site event coordinators are here to help, but hurry, availability is limited and booking fast.
Visit theranchgolf.com.
Mr. Rooter buries evidence in the desert.
I didn't mean to do it. I was forced into it. Yeah, forced. But now, no one will ever know. You've done well, Mr. Rooter. You did something awful, but you've covered your tracks. It's done. The last transcript that shows I did a semester of fishing school.
Uncover evidence of the proudest plumber, Mr. Rooter.
At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, healing doesn't have to feel heavy, because in our SwimX aquatic therapy pools, you literally float your way to recovery. Whether you're dealing with arthritis, back pain, joint injuries, post-surgical rehab, chronic pain, balance issues, mobility challenges, or just feeling a little creaky, warm water and gentle resistance have your back, your knees, and your hips. Trusted by pro sports teams and rehab hospitals, our SwimX pools help you move sooner, hurt less, and recover faster. So take the load off. Let the water do the work. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Wondering what you can afford?
Let Go Auto do the math with our free car loan calculator. No pressure,
No awkward convos.
just quick answers on your budget and payments.
Bad credit? No credit? We got you.
Text check to 780-777-7777.
That's check to 780 all 7.
Find out what you qualify for and start shopping with confidence. Go Auto. Drive what you love with payments that make sense.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection? Incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
He's a legend in the booth and a master on the mic. Low Tide brings the banter weekdays from noon to 2. Sports 1440 is where Edmonton talks sports. Get in the game. Text 833-401-1440.
To the person who doesn't know a dahlia from a dandelion, hi, your Safeway PA announcer here. Don't worry, that's our job. So enjoy our wide range of custom bouquets, build your own, and other seasonal options. Whether you know the names or not, that's the beauty of it. Whether you're celebrating a birthday, an anniversary, or just need a pop of color in the man cave, just say the occasion and our floral team will take care of the rest. For fresh flowers, visit a Safeway near you.
For over 60 years, the folks at Diablo Boots have been selling the best Canadian-made boots. Handcrafted in Winnipeg, Canada West makes the best quality cowboy, biker, and work boots for Diablo Boots with replaceable soles and heels. Why buy cheaper quality like Ariat, Justin, and Red Wing made in China when Canadian-made is better? Support Canada's workers and Diablo Boots for the best boots. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Canada West and Diablo Boots, the two best names in the boots business.
Portions of this hour brought to you by the Edmonton Elks. The Elks home opener June 20th is going to be big. Lock in your tickets at goelks.com/tickets.
The Karius Show, breaking down Edmonton's favorite teams, even though his favorite Junior A hockey team is the Yorkton Terriers. Thanks for checking in with Sports 1440.
Hey, welcome back to the big program. 8:44 in Edmonton. Kevin Karius, Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick with you here on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch. U.S. Open, after that little bit of a fog delay, well, we've got a couple of guys at the top of the leaderboard. Rory McIlroy, and guess who? Sam Burns, who was selected by none other than SKS in our Sports 1440 U.S. Open draft, leading at 2 under par. Burns is on 5. McIlroy is on 4. Brooks Koepka, Scotty Scheffler at even par, as is Ludwig Oberg. Tommy Fleetwood also at even par. If Burns wins this, we're never going to hear the end of it from SKS, are we, Duke?
I don't think so.
Man, oh man.
He already is constantly bragging about the picks
saying?
he's made previously, even though he's finished in second both times.
Yeah,
I
see,
think.
who's finished first both times?
That's you, Kevin.
Oh my!
Now, no one's picked a winner.
No.
But
yeah, we're not Keith Stewart here. Come on now.
No, but that's why we're amateurs.
Text 833-401-1440. Glenn makes a pretty good point here. Think about this. When you look at how contracts work, and this is all about contracts and how the lingo and the language is in contracts between employer and employee. Glenn says coaches that are fired should have the right to work. How about this? Players who ask for a trade, a la Dylan Larkin, are basically voiding their contract and should not have the right to demand where they go. They get that right to choose after they finish their commitment. NHL needs to let the NFL negotiate their next deal. You imagine the NFL negotiating this one? But again, Dylan Larkin says, I don't want to play in Detroit anymore. That's fine. Okay, that's okay. But Bruce Cassidy says, or they say in Bruce Cassidy's situation, you can't go coach anywhere anymore.
Yeah, but the Red Wings don't have to trade Dylan Larkin.
They don't. But
they can say, go up to training camp in September.
Okay, do you think that's going to happen?
No.
Okay.
But that's just because it's better business for them. Like, we all agree, and we've said this from the beginning. Part of what is surprising about this Bruce Cassidy situation is the fact they have to keep paying him a very large annual salary. Mm-hmm. And I get it. Bill Foley is rich beyond near everyone in the world's wildest dreams. But you don't become that wealthy by just throwing away $5 million.
So we all know what's going to happen here, Duke. As soon as the Oilers name their coach, and it's not going to be Bruce Cassidy.
Yeah.
And let's just say it's Babcock, and that's the way things are pointing in that direction. As soon as that happens, Kelly McCrimmon is going to say, Bruce, you're free to speak with anyone, and how it's going to play out is the first coach that gets fired next year.
100%.
Bruce Cassidy is going to be the coach of that team if he wants to go to where the locale is.
I agree wholeheartedly that at this point, that is, I believe that is the line of a process that this is going to take.
And it's unfortunate.
Well, but I kind of push back a little bit on that comparison to the players. Like, the players are contractually obligated too. That's the benefit of a fully guaranteed contract.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we have seen at times where, teams decide that it's a mutual termination of the deal, but that's the key word there, mutual. Bruce Cassidy, he wants to terminate it. Vegas does not.
I was just watching the U.S. Open because I got Tommy Fleetwood. He was 100 yards out. He was in the rough.
Tough to control the ball from there, Kevin.
15-mile-an-hour headwind, and he tried to play just sort of a low punch into the wind. It hits the green and rolls about 40 yards off it. Wow. Hey, let's check in with Cam Tate. Another edition of Cam and Eggs. This will be order number 45.
Cam and Eggs. Order 45. Hockey and business. Say it again. Hockey and business. Doesn't sound right, does it? A game and business. Two worlds. Different planets. One has Zambonis, the other has quarterly earnings reports. Neither should go together. like pineapple on pizza. And yet, but it is. It really, truly is. Let me put it this way. You run a restaurant, a great restaurant, lines out the door, reservations for weeks, the kind of place where people wear their good jeans. Your chef is the best in town, the best. People drive across the city for his food. Some people drive from Calgary. Don't tell them I said that. Then one night, he slips. A rock in the potatoes. A real rock. Somebody nearly cracks a molar that costs $3,000 to fix probably. You fire him. Get out. Goodbye. Take your knives, leave the apron. Actually, take the apron. It's not a great apron. But here's the thing. Your biggest competitor, right across the street, they need a chef. Right now, today, like they're already printing new menus. So back when you hired your guy, you were smart. You wrote a non-compete clause into his deal. Walk across that street and you kiss your package goodbye. Every last nickel. Non-compete. Right. Now. Kelly McCrimmon. What McCrimmon is doing isn't just good business. It's smart business. Damn smart. Genius level, actually. He won't let Bruce Cassidy talk to the Edmonton Oilers. The Oilers. The Vegas Golden Knights' biggest competitor. Same conference, same fight, same Stanley Cup everybody wants to kiss. You don't hand the keys to the guy across the street. You just don't. And it's not wrong, not even slightly wrong, not even a little bit wrong on a Tuesday. People hear it and they wince. They clutch their pearls. They say it's cold. They say, let the man interview. Let him work. Let him breathe. But this is the business. This has always been the business. Nobody winces when a lawyer has a non-compete. Nobody cries about that. Loyalty has a price. Information has a price. A coach who knows your power play, your penalty kill, your locker room chemistry, that has a very big price. McCrimmon knows the menu. Every dish, every secret sauce. He's not sliding that recipe card across the street on a silver platter. That's not mean. That's Tuesday in the NHL. That's hockey and business. Now, go chew on that. Carefully. Watch out for rocks. Cam and Eggs, Sports 1440.
You know, I think we should probably Sports 1440 maybe once in a while. Hey, Duke?
1440.
Sports 1440.
On the AM dial.
Text 833-401-1440. Team Dean says, hey, it hasn't always been the business. This is the first case of this. Evan says he was fired. Kent McKenzie says Dylan Larkin's given 11 years of his career to Detroit. Hasn't made the playoffs since his first year. He has the right to request a deal to a team that has a chance to win, as the Red Wings have let him down. Has he not let down the Red Wings too, Clint? Kent?
Yes, he absolutely has a right to request a trade, and Detroit has a right to say, you're under contract that you signed with your name. Like, Dylan Larkin could have been a free agent. He could have left somewhere else. He chose to sign in Detroit. The street runs both ways.
When was the date that he signed his contract, Duke? I'm going to just check on that. I can give you that right now because I have it up. Contract history.
Signed March 1st, 2023.
Yeah, March 2023, signed an 8-year deal. So to argue your point, Kent, at that point, as Duke says, so 3 years ago, he hadn't made the playoffs technically for 5 years, so add on another 3 year. At that point, he could have said, I don't want to be here anymore. He's pulled in a lot of dough from the Detroit Red Wings. His cap hits 8.7. It expires coming up in 2031. He's got 5 years left at 8.7. Perennial 30-goal guy with the Detroit Red Wings. Think Patrick Kane will be back in Detroit, Duke?
I think they would be interested in having him back. I'd be curious if he explores the hired gun approach and goes, because he can still contribute. There's no doubt. I'm not sure he's a legitimate, he's not a top line driver anymore, but he can still probably play on a top line in the right situation and be an excellent complementary piece. Or if you're talking like a second line, maybe even third, like a third scoring line, the primary option on one of those units.
You know, there was so much talk about what they were going to do with their goaltending situation to Detroit. Boy, that's quieted down here in the last week, is it not? You know, Sebastian everyone like the goaltending. Who's going to be the backup next year?
It's just because it's not as topical. Everyone's more focused on Darnell Nurse and the continuing head coaching saga.
But do you think Detroit would be interested in Darnell Nurse? I don't see that happening. They got Sider, they got Falk.
The only reason I could see it, Kevin, is that Steve Yzerman has had this infatuation with overpaid veteran defensemen.
Man,
I like it's hard for me to envision it working. There's no doubt about it.
I don't see it at all happening because everyone threw that name out there. You know, Detroit.
Just because it came out with Kosa, and then it in whatever it was a day or two after the Larkin request came through. So it's like, oh, it's a simple solution, just two disgruntled players. Yeah. And keep in mind, Darnell Nurse isn't, I don't think, disgruntled, but as you and Spec have often said, it's essentially the team saying, go now where you can make the choice, or wait until it's a much shorter list.
Coming up at the top of the hour, we got Paul Sir. Talk a little basketball. Before that, time now for a Sports 1440 update brought to you by All-Star Construction. They shape and build Edmonton communities, specializing in underground utilities like power, gas, telecommunication, and street lighting. That's All-Star Construction. Here is the Duke.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
World Cup action yesterday. Portugal, surprise draw against the DRC. 1-1 the final from Houston. England doubled up on Croatia 4-2. Harry Kane with a pair of goals there became England's all-time leading scorer at the World Cup. Ghana blank Panama 1-0. End of the nightcap, Colombia getting past Uzbekistan 3-1 from Mexico City. News this morning that the Boston Bruins are going to be retiring former captain Patrice Bergeron's number 37 the upcoming season. Bergeron will join a iconic list of players in the Raptors at the TD Garden. In case you missed it, yesterday afternoon, the San Jose Sharks acquiring defenseman Michael Kessering and the number 27 overall pick in the upcoming draft from the Buffalo Sabres in exchange for number 20 overall in the first round. And the PWHL's entry draft went yesterday. Big run of Americans at the top of the table. Olympic gold medalist Caroline Harvey going first overall out of Wisconsin to the Vancouver Golden Knights. Abby Murphy to Seattle at 2 out of Minnesota. And from Penn State to new expansion team Las Vegas via Detroit, Tessa Janicki going third overall. From the NBA offseason, Washington Wizards star Trae Young expected to decline his just under $49 million player option for this upcoming season. Will become a free agent starting on Monday. Four-time All-Star could still return to Washington, albeit on a new contract. Local basketball, Stingers last night from the Expo Center fall to Montreal 95-76. And in the majors yesterday, the Blue Jays blanked the Red Sox 3-0 in what was a bullpen day for Toronto. Simeon Woods Richardson picking up his first win of the season with 3 innings of work. Elsewhere, Yankees double up on the White Sox 10-5. The Orioles beat Seattle 5-3, and Chicago top Colorado 8-6. Finally, from the U.S. Open at Shinnecock Hills, Sam Burns currently atop the leaderboard. He's 2 under through 4 after what was a delayed start due to fog from Long Island. Some other names familiar inside the top 10. Rory McIlroy, Ludwig Over, and High Canadian Nick Taylor tied for second at 1 under through 3 holes. Coming up in hour 3 of the Kevin Karius Show, we'll be joined by Paul Sir from Hoop City and hear some one-on-one interviews with members of the Edmonton Elks. I'm Brandon Douglas, Center Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Looking for a solid 4x4 that checks all the boxes? The 2026 Jeep Compass is in stock now at St. Albert Dodge, and this is a great value, starting from just $36,900. It's a Jeep, so you've got 4x4 capability, plus features like an 8.4-inch touchscreen, Apple CarPlay, active lane management, a park view rear backup camera, and more. Over 30 in stock right now in just about every color you'd want. Head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit fountaintire.com today.
You may get up early, but more than likely, the team at GS Construction have already gotten up before you, grabbed a coffee, headed to the site, and started their day. So while Edmonton wakes up, GS crews are already underground, quietly keeping things moving, upgrading, and laying the new underground infrastructure for our growing city. If you're the kind of person who goes to sleep with their steel-toed boots on, GS Construction wants to hear from you. We're looking for a maintenance foreman as well as a building and yard attendant. Visit gsconstruction.ca for more.
The perfect place to host your golf tournament or fundraiser, company event, celebration of life, wedding, birthday party, or private party. Cattail Crossing Golf and Winter Club. More than a golf course, a fun, welcoming place with beautiful views, relaxing patios, and a team that truly appreciates each and every guest. Featuring Out of Bounds, Cattail's 5-star kitchen. Some say it's the best clubhouse dining they've ever had. Cattail Crossing Golf and Winter Club. Book your tourney or event today at cattailcrossing.ca.
Say hello to your new favorite drinks. Introducing new McCafe Refreshers. Icy cool, undeniably refreshing, and available in 3 flavors. Strawberry watermelon, mango pineapple, and blackberry passion fruit. Only at McDonald's.
Hey, Gary, is that your dad?
No, this is Evan, the new sales rep I hired.
Oh.
First impressions matter, but when hair loss takes over, it can feel like you're not being seen for the maverick you truly are. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we know that hair loss is more than just a cosmetic issue. It's personal. Let's discuss all the cutting-edge options available so you can make a great impression every time.
Book a free consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
Have your sports curiosity cured with the Kevin Karius Show. This is Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 9:02 in Edmonton. Kevin Karius, Duke of Delburne with you, as well as Josh Fenwick here on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch. Always exciting to talk a little basketball with our good old buddy Paul Sir from Hoop City that you hear every Saturday from 10 to 12. Good morning, Paul. How's the week been treating you? Paul's muted. Can you... You can probably hear us, Paul, but unmute yourself if you can. We'll get that fixed. Paul, can you hear us now? We just need you to unmute, Paul, I believe. Look at Josh Fenwick trying to type notes to his old buddy there. Can't get him going. Paul, can you hear us now? Maybe it's on our end, Duke. It is possible, Duke says. Well, we'll try to get this rectified. Tons to talk about with Paul. Edmonton Stingers lost to Montreal, the Alliance last night. We can discuss a little WNBA with the tempo. Did you know it was the most watched NBA final since 1998? I believe that was the Bulls and Utah back in 98. Paul, can you hear us now, big guy?
I can. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, Paul. You're coming in loud and clear.
All right.
You sound like basically, when in the old MASH episodes when it came over, in camp, that's what it's coming in like.
Well, that's flattering. But thank you. If you're saying I sound like Radar making announcement in MASH, so
it's funny how everyone, like when you watch the old MASH episodes, Radar was in some, you'd see him, and then it would come over the loudspeaker. So it was always like, well, how can he be in two places at once? I always kind of wondered that. That was a great show. You probably one of all your all-time favorites, eh, Paul?
It was a great show. It was unbelievable. I was one of the people lucky enough to watch the final episode, which was had the largest audience of any TV program of all time, still to this day.
Oh man, was a great show. We'll talk Stingers, WNBA. How big are the New York Knicks? As I was saying, Paul, when you were muted, this was the most viewed final in 28 years since 1998. It was the Bulls and Utah back then. The viewership was amazing. I looked at the amount of what do you want to call it, clicks or whatever, social media generated 15 billion views over the series, and then a record for all-time Fanatics merchandise in the following 24 hours after Game 5. And then the parade today. Man, this Knicks team and how they brought in the fans, and they've always had fans, but obviously it increased. It's a hell of a story. It's a hell of a team. It's a hell of a fellowship, if you want to call it that, for this team.
Easy team to like, Kevin. Yeah. I think the attraction, one of the major attractions, of course, for the NBA Finals was Wembanyama in the finals for the first time. Everybody wanting to see how this young phenom was going to play. But I think the real story certainly came out that the Knicks won. And it's not just because they won in 5 games. It's because of how they won. And the likability factor is through the roof on this team. I mean, how can you not like a team led by a class act and competitor like Jalen Brunson and watch the emergence of OG Anunoby and what he did, and then the complementary crew and just how hard they work. Like what an easy team to relate to and to like. And then there was the villain aspect too of Wemby's antics that gets a lot of attentions too. So it kind of had it all.
Yeah, Wemby, it just adds fuel to the fire, doesn't it? Like Castle, we talked about Castle going into, what was it, Game 4, right? We talked about that. Yeah, we're going to win 3 straight here. Yeah. It just so will they learn? Is that just immaturity, Paul? Will they learn here next year?
It is just it is mostly immaturity. It's also habits. And I think it's also the way that young players are brought into the competitive landscape at very early ages. If you're identified as a great player, at very early ages, you're mollycoddled and you are offered opportunities from age 14 on. You're treated like a star. You're on the AAU circuit if you're from the United States, and down on the AAU circuit, it's game after game, week after week. That sort of, it's just a very, very entitled culture that's created. So when you get to the NBA, and these guys are really good, they're hard workers. If they learn, the Spurs will definitely be back. If they can keep this nucleus together into the NBA Finals, it'll be interesting to watch, like what they learn and how fast they learn. And like in Wemby's case, I mean, the lack of, you hate to say something like as trite as lack of humility, but I mean, Wemby really showed some weaknesses in his mentality through the course of this. And he's 22 years old. He gets beat up on every play. We'll see, Kevin. Will they learn? Hope so, because they're too good. They're too good. They're too talented not to, but I hope they do learn for sure.
So what does Coach Paul Sir say to a team like that maybe next year? You walk into training camp, you walk into the locker room, and you say, what?
Well, I would walk into the locker room today and say, Wemby, skip the monastery and get your butt into the weight room, get the right nutrition program, and get your butt in the low block and we're going to start working on your interior game. Because one of the things I think that just was glaring throughout this entire series, particularly 2 things. Wemby physically isn't ready to play 40 to 45 minutes.
Right.
A lot of players aren't. He certainly wasn't. By the fourth quarter, he was bagged and he was just floating on the outside. He's 7'5", but Kevin, when you're 30 feet away from the basket, does it really matter that you're 7'5"? As opposed to interior around the basket, making the other team have to guard a 7'5" player. So I think Wemby really has to focus on his low post game. He started the year out embracing that, but over the course of the year became more and more dependent on an outside game. Yeah. So that's number one. Number two, for the rest of the team, work hard on your game and your weaknesses in the offseason. When you come back, a couple of things we have to do. We have to share the ball better. We have to defend as a team better in clutch situations. And offensively, again, we have to be better at creating the right kind of space for our teammates, because even like Dylan Harper, who had that magnificent game 5, even at the end, he was driving into 2 and 3 teammates because everybody's running to the ball and panicking. And that, of course, will come with experience. So I have no doubt that Coach Mitch Johnson is going to be, he and his staff are planning already what they want to get done for next year. But those would be some of the things that I would touch on. Main thing is get Wemby closer to the basket for more of the game.
As the great broadcaster said, Joe Garagiola, he said about an old pitcher that played in the major leagues, and the similarity between that pitcher and Wemby is that guy could have a shower in a shotgun barrel. He said, Paul, that's how tall and skinny he was. I think it was Pascual Perez that he said it about years ago.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's true about Wemby. I mean, he is slender. Certainly guys are physical with him, but he tries to be physical back, and sometimes the physical play really got to him. And unfortunately with social media, we see all of the questionable plays many times, and his temper got the better of him quite a few times, and it really did affect, I think, his play towards the end. Whereas the Knicks, there's this idea that, are you going to try to take the elevator up to success, or are you going to have to go up the ladder? Knicks have gone up the ladder. The Spurs tried to go up the elevator, but the experience, determination, and focus of the Knicks in the end won out. And if you picked who the more talented team was, certainly the Spurs. Who was the better, tougher team? Certainly the Knicks.
Yeah. Paul Sir with us on the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440. If you were to say the one or two of the biggest off-season storylines coming up in the NBA, what would they be? And I mean, is Giannis, what his situation? Is that at the top of the list? Where is it at for you, Paul?
Well, definitely Giannis. I mean, in terms of off-season acquisitions, he's wherever he ends up, and I'm assuming he'll end up somewhere, it's going to transform their team, and of course, Milwaukee. It's so interesting how history repeats itself, because this reminds me so much of way back in the day in the Lou Alcindor, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar era, when they traded him away to the Lakers, and the Bucks got a bunch of guys that were, nothing even close, and didn't do anything to replace what Kareem did in his career at Milwaukee. But that's the situation the Bucks find themselves in, and I know they don't want to repeat that. They want to get quality players for Giannis, and they should be able to. The question always now with Giannis is, he's got year on year, fewer and fewer games. Are you going to get him for 50 games, 40 games, 70 games? What's he going to come in and be able to do? So when you're mortgaging the house, like teams like Miami are talking about doing, you're going into it with a bit of trepidation of like, man, oh man, I hope if we're going to trade away everything, I hope this guy can stay healthy, because if he can, he will make a team much, much better. If he can't, then that's what you roll the dice for. You're gonna find out.
Paul Sir with us from Hoop City on the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440. Edmonton Stingers lose to Montreal Alliance last night at the Hive. The Stingers have been in a lot of close games. Last night wasn't one of them. Give us your assessment of this ball club after 9 games at 3-6.
I'm not impressed. Yeah. They seem rudderless. They don't seem to have continuity or chemistry to the present time. And that's, of course, one of the challenges of the CEBL is you're bringing a lot of different players and a lot of different pieces in from all over. And your best player the first 3 or 4 games of the season gets NBA tryouts because he's really good. He's gone. So you're shuffling players in and out. It's a challenge, but I do think for whatever reason, this team just does not have any feel or flow at all right now. Montreal's an okay team, but they're not what I would call a great team. They're not a contender at this juncture of the season. So my concern with the Stingers are, I think their talent is better than how they're playing. So Coach Baker and his staff have to figure out who their players are and where they should be getting their shots in order to have this team start developing some sort of chemistry and identity. Because right now they really look like they're struggling out there to know what to do and when to do it. So it's a big challenge for any team. Like I said, when you're quote unquote slapped together, to start identifying. So it's a great experience. The CEBL is wonderful for basketball in Canada. Edmonton has a tradition over the 8 years of the league, so hopefully they'll right the ship. The great thing is there's still 16 games to go,
for sure.
So they have time to get it done, but they're going to have to start figuring some stuff out.
I thought it used to be where the Hive and home court was such a big deal. 1-4 at home, that's the worst record along with Calgary at home. Can you put your finger on why?
They're not very good.
Mm-hmm.
They lost a couple of games they could have and probably should have won. Where the first game they gave up a big lead in target time. They have done poorly in close target time situations. So home court advantage should be huge in Edmonton. But you've got to have your stuff together as a team in order to take advantage of that. You can't have great moments. You have to have great quarters. And I think that's what the Stingers are having a hard time with right now, are putting great quarters together. Because it looks like they look disheveled and they don't look confident. They're not playing with any confidence right now as a team. They have, and I go back to my original point, Kevin, they have better talent than their record indicates, which is hopeful, because if they figure it out and take advantage of this talent, they will start winning games. But you've got a great home court venue. This is where you got to entertain the fans with your best effort. So they're going to have to figure it out. And it's getting time. You can no longer use the excuse of it's early in the season.
Right.
It's not. You're a third of the way through.
Especially with such a shorter season. I wonder if your cohort, Josh Fenwick, your producer, has anything in the chamber here. I'm just looking at him over there, and I see he's awaiting it with bated breath to maybe discuss. No, he's shaking his head. See, he's got nothing in the chamber for you, Paul. My disappointment is at the highest of levels with Josh this morning. So I can't tell you how disappointed I am, Paul.
Well, he's just over there looking anxious, I'm sure. So don't add to his anxiety, Kevin.
So you know what happens? You always have to have a pivot. So here's what our pivot is here, Paul. We got to go to our buddy Husks.
Oh, Husks. I was waiting.
Our buddy Husks text in, wondering what Mr. Sir thinks happens with Trae Young. I can't believe he's going to get paid like he's going to. Then he says Trae and Harden are two of the best / worst players ever. So thoughts on Trae Young, Paul?
Great point, Husks. I was, on one hand, I shouldn't be surprised that Young is throwing himself into the free agent market, because he isn't worth he isn't worth the money he's going to be demanding. He has unfortunately shown that teams can't win with him, and that's not a good line on your resume. This past year, Atlanta tried, when he was healthy, to fit him into the lineup to see how it worked, and they were far worse with Trae Young in the lineup than they were without him. So they send him over to Washington, where he doesn't play, and now you're coming out as an undersized guy who's lost a step, who's still an elite playmaker, no doubt about it. But with salary cap issues, it's hard to imagine teams throwing $50-60 million at this guy. Like, he had guaranteed $45 million. So it's so stupid when you hear this stuff. Let's go to Jalen Brunson. He gave up $113 million in his contract to keep the Knicks together. Dirk Nowitzki did the same thing back in Dallas when they won a championship. There are players that see the bigger picture of how are you going to spend all that money anyway? So like a guy like Young, this is my point on this ramble, Kevin.
Yeah.
A guy like Young, shouldn't you just take the money and try to make the team better instead of, and you've got, it's a business. I get that. But man, he's got a lot to prove again. He's no longer a known commodity. He is a risk. So whoever picks him up, I'm sure some team will say, you know what, we're going to roll the dice again and get this guy in, and maybe he'll be the missing piece in a puzzle. But it's hard for me to envision.
And one last one. What have you thought about the Toronto Tempo here? 15 games in to the WNBA season? They're a game under 500, so not too bad for an expansion team.
For an expansion team, they're doing really well. The WNBA is interesting, I think, Kevin, from the standpoint of there's a consistency now of expansion teams being very good in their first and second seasons. Like Golden State has been very, very good. Toronto, I really like Toronto. I like watching them play. Mabry is a really good basketball player, and the women work extremely hard. They've had a couple of rough outings the last game, and maybe there's a sobering settling in where it's no longer, adrenaline flowing. Now you maybe there are some deficiencies in your team that was put together similar to almost like a CEBL team with the draft and with the roster being put together, the negotiations that took place that went so deep and late, you really didn't have a chance to put a roster together until very late in the game. But so far, so good. They're really well coached. Their organization, I think, is outstanding. They've got a great front office. It looks like Toronto is loving them and embracing them. So I think it's a wonderful start for the WNBA in Canada. I think it's really great to see the WNBA in Canada.
Absolutely. What's shaking on Saturday, Paul?
Well, we're going to have a lot of 3x3 stuff on Saturday. We have some folks coming on that we're going to talk about our Edmonton Federation of Community League 3x3 event down at the Fan Park on July 11th. We're going to have a couple of fine gentlemen I've had on the show before, Brett and Zane from Legacy Athletics. We're going to be announcing our fall or our summer 3x3 leagues for all age groups up to adults, and talk about our fall 3x3 leagues that are going to start rolling out in the city. So a lot of 3x3 stuff. And then Josh and I are going to have a real good deep dive reflection on the NBA season and what's coming up, what to look for in the draft. So, Josh, you're going to have to be ready on Saturday.
Well, you can just see his readiness right now. And if you're doing a deeper dive, you might as well bring in Eddie Steele as well, because he's the king of deep dives, Paul.
Okay, we got to get Eddie on then.
Thanks, Paul. Have a wonderful weekend. Have a great show, too, on Saturday morning.
All right. Thanks, Kevin. Take care.
Paul, sir. You hear him every Saturday, 10 to 12, right here in Sports 1440 with Josh Fenwick with Hoop City. When we come back, we'll get to some of your texts, but we've also got some interviews that we did yesterday with the Edmonton Elks as they are getting ready for their home opener Saturday against the Montreal Alouettes. It's a Kevin Karius Show with the Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit fountaintire.com today.
Tee up at the 2026 Golf-a-thon presented by Popeye Supplements tomorrow at Rundle Park, supporting the University Hospital Foundation. Golf all day long for $250, including a cart and food. GoatTrackSocialClub.com. Home ice advantage is real at the rink and on your windows. Novo Blinds is Edmonton's own custom manufacturer, trusted by customers around the city. Factory direct pricing with the fastest turnaround around. Book a free in-home consultation at novoblinds.ca.
Got a car you're ready to part with? Find out what it's worth. Fast, easy, and totally free at Go Auto. We're talking top dollar trade-ins, whether it's a little worn or still rocking that new car smell. Just a few clicks, and boom, you've got your value. Text VALUE to 780-777-7777 to start. That's VALUE to 780 all sevens. Why guess what it's worth? Let Go Auto show you the money.
You wanted local sports on weekends. Saturday mornings at 9, check out the Saturday Sports Setup, where we'll tee up what's happening on the weekend sports scene. Tune in Saturday morning at 9 on Sports 1440.
The world's biggest soccer tournament is here. When the match is on, you call the shots. Whether it's a parlay after working all day or a straight bet and straight to bed, Betway has what it takes for you to bet the Edmonton way. So when it's your turn to play the Edmonton way with Betway. Play responsibly. Alberta only. 18+.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. Standard message and data rates may apply.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Equipment Auction is this Friday at 9 a.m. featuring articulated dump trucks, backhoes, excavators, forklifts, graders, loaders, packers, reclaimer, skid steers, telehandlers, turf mowers, plus commercial trailers. Info at maauctions.com.
Alberta, we're wild and tough and beautiful. We agree that good enough isn't good enough. And though everything that matters starts with a home and a family. At Lux, our family has been handcrafting windows and doors for this incredible place for over half a century. And there's no place we'd rather be. Everything we are is windows and doors. A company born and bred and made in Alberta.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's next Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Industrial Auction is this Friday at 9 a.m. featuring a large selection of 2020 to 2014 Caterpillar, John Deere, and Volvo articulated dump trucks. Info at maauctions.com.
You're listening to Sports 1440 and watch us on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Sports 24/7. We are Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 9:27 in Edmonton. The Edmonton Elks open up their regular season home portion of their schedule Saturday when the Montreal Alouettes pay a visit to Commonwealth Stadium, and Sports 1440 would like to send you to the game. We've got 2 tickets for Saturday's game. All you have to do is text Elks. So text ELKS to 1-833-401-1440, and you can win tickets to this week's home game against the Montreal Alouettes at 2 p.m. kickoff. We're going to be doing it all season long. Next home game after this one is Thursday, July 9th against the Ottawa Red Blacks. But listen to Sports 1440 every day, and you get a chance to win tickets to the Edmonton Elks. Go to sports1440.com to see the full home game schedule. But again, text Elks, 833-401-1440. You could win tickets to this week's home game. Time now for the game of the day, brought to you by St. Albert Dodge, where you can pick up a Jeep Compass 4x4 for under $37,000. You can't beat it. You've got the 8.4-inch touchscreen, active lane management. You've got the Apple CarPlay, remote keyless illuminated entry, rear backup camera, the alarm, and more. We've got 30 in stock at stalbertdodge.com. Yesterday I was down at practice, and again, it rained, it hailed. The team practiced harder, it seemed, when it was coming down like cats and dogs. I zipped around the east side of the field, Duke, and went all the way up to Clark, and first stayed under the canopy, and then I went into the press box. Just an absolute terrible display of manhood, whatever you want to call it. But Morley Scott, Dave Campbell were in there too, so I didn't feel too bad. There were a couple fans that were underneath the canopy, so all good there. But you know, the weather's following them around, how bad it is. It was terrible in Ottawa. It was bad yesterday. Hopefully we can get a break on Saturday. Just hoping to get a break and get a decent crowd on Saturday afternoon. This is a team right now that after a bye week, the positivity you could see on the field, man. You could feel it. This team is practicing hard. It was just the third day of practice. We'll talk about that momentarily, but they haven't been on their home field yet. So today is their first practice at Commonwealth Stadium after everything that's gone through there as far as the turf, replacing it after the grass was taken out for that friendly of Canada, Uzbekistan. So it's going to be a little different. The footing, I talked to Ed Hervey yesterday. We were on the sidelines, and I said, what's it like? Compare this to the other turf. And he says, well, it's shorter. There's not as much, you know, if you've ever been down at the turf, on our artificial turf, there's these tiny, tiny little black rubber pellets. They're very, very small. But that's what gives the turf its, how much give is in there between, if you could put a cleat mark and how it absorbs pressure, et cetera, and how you get a grip and everything like that. It's going to be a little different, but players now, and it's, they've only got a couple days to work on it here before Saturday's game. So that'll be interesting. But let's start things off with a conversation I had with the head coach, Mark Hill. All right, Coach, how's the preparation gone so far? A couple of days in here for Saturday's tilt against Montreal.
Yeah, definitely better practice today than yesterday. Yesterday wasn't bad. It was just the first one after bye, so it kind of took us a little bit to get going there. But put the pads on today. Guys practiced hard. We got better today.
Do you find that after bye, no matter what, no matter if it's week 2, week 8, 10, whatever it is, it takes a little while to get everybody's head back in it?
A little bit. I mean, like the effort was there and the energy was there, but it just doesn't look quite the same. The urgency isn't quite there. The execution definitely is not. So it does take a little bit, but they deserve the bye as well. They earned that time.
At what point do you go, okay, enough's enough, and you got to lay the hammer down here, though?
Well, we talked about it as coaching staff after we watched the practice film yesterday, and then I made a point about it in meetings this morning that we wanted to practice better today. And here's the examples, and the guys took it to heart.
What do you take from Ottawa into Montreal here?
You take some confidence from being able to execute and go out and earn a win on the road. But I mean, it feels like a long time ago, honestly. We're going to have our hands full. Montreal's a 3-phase football team. They play all the way to the end. So it's going to take a great effort from us.
What do you see when you watch Davis Alexander on film? And what do you have to do defensively to counter what he can bring to the table here?
Yeah, I mean, he's elevating their football team. He can make throws on every part of the field. He can get himself out of trouble. He brings a certain kind of energy that his teammates feed off of, and that's what you want in your franchise quarterback. But he's playing really well. They're making plays for him down the field, and they're really explosive right now on offense.
You got to bring defense in layers on him because he's elusive.
Yeah, and we got to be disciplined with executing our assignments, whatever that is. If we're supposed to have a top on the defense, and we got to have the top on the defense. If we have to have an edge on the LOS, and we have to have an edge on the LOS. And that's the simplistic version of it, but we've got to be disciplined in the way that we are executing our assignments.
What about discipline as far as penalties go?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's something that we're trying to clean up right now. It's really the preventable penalties that we want to get out of our game. We've spent some time with the guys, and we've had some conversations with the officials on just trying to clean up our standards as far as how they see it. And I'm confident that we will.
I don't know if it's just me, but just watching the early games across the league, it seems a lot more PI penalties are getting thrown. I don't know if it's just me. Is there more of that happening with 50-50 balls? What are you seeing, and how do you look at that moving forward here?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the number is, but I think it always takes a few weeks for everybody to adjust to the standards, of how they're calling it. And, whether they want to change them or not, maybe the way that the standard that they're calling it to is changed. So that's on us as players and coaches to adjust to that, and we will.
On the O-line, Wood Manzi, that's a tough situation. He's going to be out for a while. what options do you have personnel-wise for Saturday?
Yeah, we can keep the ratio the same, and we've got some Canadian guys that we can plug in there, or we can change the ratio and play an American there, which affects another part of the roster. But that's the roster that our personnel department has built. It gives us that flexibility, and we're lucky to have it.
What have you seen from Austin Mack so far this year, playing against his old team, expectations against the Elks here?
Yeah, I mean, he's trying to bring leadership every day that he's in here. He comes out, he practices hard. He's good with the young guys as far as, helping them with their assignments, that kind of thing. And, I told him it's just another game, but I know he'll be ready to play.
Hey, I know we're not made of sugar, man, but this wet stuff seems to be following you guys around.
Oh, it's been kind of that year so far, but you know what? Today, we had sun, we had hail, we had rain, we had everything, but we play football outside. Credit to the guys that we didn't even phase them. I think we started practicing harder when it was raining, so it was even better.
Coach, thanks for this. Good luck against the Elks.
Thank you.
That's head coach of the Edmonton Elks, Mark Killam, yesterday. Yeah, and I mean, it was crazy just the way the weather was there, but it's following these guys around, but it doesn't bother them at all. They were practicing. The other thing that happened yesterday after practice, and I used to do these every year for, 20 years. Global Edmonton was down to do what they have, the player IDs. So Bridget was down there, Prendergast, with old footsie, Jill Foots, who I worked with she used to be an old script assistant on Sports Night like 25 years ago. Anyway, they were down there, and in the rain after practice, guys like Justin Rankin and Malik Carney were in there doing their player IDs. You'll see them, the commercials running on Global over the course of the season. But these guys, no problem, man. I mean, this is a good group of guys, man. A really good group of guys. The veteran leadership that they need, one of the guys that's providing it on offense is Austin Mack. This is a guy that had, a small little taste of the NFL, had great success in Montreal, obviously with Cody Fajardo. So we're going to be waiting on that chemistry to redevelop. We've only had one game here. So that's going to be something to keep an eye on moving forward here. But here's the conversation I had with Austin yesterday. Well, Austin, you've been here for like a long time now, a couple months, where you finally got acclimatized to Edmonton, your team, new atmosphere, new everything. What's the adjustment been like for you?
It's been great. Getting to know this team, these teammates, building continuity with the quarterbacks. It's a really good spot, honestly. Can't lie. I've been happy about it. Getting used to this team or the city, like you said, and really feel like we're ready to do it. Thoughts on a bye week? What'd you do for your bye week, and how excited are you to get back at things on Saturday here? I mean, really excited. Early buys aren't always the best. You're ready to get after it, biting at the bit. Got to move in, unpack a bit, set up a bed, a couple of dressers, but saw the West Edmonton Mall, got to explore a bit, so just more than anything, enjoying the time, refilling the cup, and then, ready to go on this big stretch here. Thoughts about playing your former team, the Elks here? Oh, I can't wait. Definitely gonna have a lot of energy from me this week. What did you learn from your time in Montreal that you brought here in Edmonton? I'd say more than anything, just understanding the CFL game, understanding what it takes to, be up here, stick up here, be successful. What it takes to be a pro, I'd say, in this space as well. And, I was around a lot of great coaches, a lot of great players over there. We won a lot. And so a winning culture, a winning mindset, selfless, wanting to just help the team do the best we can. And, that's what I like to pride myself on as a player. And I think I bring that here. Are there any similarities between Coach Moss and Coach Killam? Completely two different people. Killam is a great coach. Been able to have a lot of great conversations with him. I'd say had more conversations with him I even had with Moss in the time I've spent here only a couple of months. He listens to a lot of players, the vets, and this is a vet-ran team. Over there, it's more about the coaches and them putting what they want forward. So completely two different programs, and it's been good to be a part of this one. How would you describe this receiving core that you're part of in Edmonton to what you were in Montreal? Reminds me a lot of 23 when I first got to Montreal, right? Me and Tyler Sneed were brand new. Tyson just coming off an injury, brand new. A lot of new guys. And regardless, we all knew what we could play really good at a high level. It's just about being able to build some continuity, be able to put together, good, continuous, consistent production. And over that course of the year, you saw us do it. And I think that's what we're going to do here.
When you look at leadership, it comes in many forms. How do you try to portray that here? I mean, even just thinking of a young guy like Carter Kettle coming in from University of Alberta here and just trying to find his way as well.
Yeah, I think, for me, it's all about, right. I've been in the league. I've been a pro for 7 years. I know what it takes day in and day out, helping guys see that. Like, some guys don't know what to do. They don't know what the routine is. They don't know, right, what a day should look like, right? Helping them be able to build that out, as well as if I see something, I'm going to comment on it. Yeah. And it's like, hey, we're on that field, man. Keep me accountable, and I'm going to keep you guys accountable to the same standard. I'm coaching myself too. So just having that high expectation for ourselves and pushing each other.
Who were some of the guys that helped you along the way?
Man, I was blessed with some good guys when I first got into the National Football League. I had Golden Tate, had Sterling Shepard. Those were two guys that were big on me. And then I ended up with San Francisco, and I was with some awesome vets who are still playing today. Juice Checks of the world, the kid, George Kittles of the world, Debo Samuel, those guys. Mm-hmm. They really kind of showed me. Christian McCaffrey I got to be with for a short time, and that guy's a pro's pro. I wasn't blessed with too many of that when I got to the CFO. Yeah. I kind of had to take that on my own, and more than anything, I've just been building off of that.
How close were you with Golden Tate?
That was my guy, man. Yeah. He was my he's the guy I had to get a Christmas gift for that year in 2020. We call him the Yak King. He really was. The dude's a dog. But he was kind of in the back end of his career in New York, and man, he's just ball of fun. He loved to play football, and to see that at a professional level, that's only been wanted me to be able to bring that same energy, love, passion to the game as well.
You had to have seen him on that Special Forces series, did you not? What was that all about?
Oh, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, no. When you saw him, and what did you think?
Oh, I mean, dude's hilarious. I didn't watch that thing full. I saw like clips of it, but the dude's hilarious.
Hey, thanks for this, Austin. Really appreciate your time, and good luck against the Elks.
Appreciate you.
That's Austin Mack talking about at the very end his relationship with Golden Tate. So that was in New York with the Giants. Golden Tate had a pretty damn good career in the NFL when you think about it. Played for several teams and had a decent career. But if you've never seen the Special Forces series, it was on Fox. I think last year 2025 was the last one, I think, maybe, and that's when Tate was on. But it is wild. I mean, they grabbed these guys. They're all celebrities and they're actors, and they're a lot of former athletes. Cam Newton was one of the guys on the show. They've had several basketball guys. Newton was he's such a big guy, and he's hauling his frame around this. They're on jogs, they're on runs, they're rappelling, they're doing everything that are the Special Forces are putting them through. But Tate was one of the top guys in the 2025 season. So that was kind of a neat aspect there to talk to him about that. Also yesterday, Malik Carney had a discussion with Malik Carney, the defensive lineman who the Elks picked up from Saskatchewan, off-season signing, where the team is right now and where it is moving forward, heading into the game against Montreal. Malik, what'd you do on your bye week?
I just hung out, got off my feet, watched a lot of film, and did a lot of recovery, just body maintenance.
It's tough bye weeks early in the season, though, aren't they?
Yeah, early in the season, man, but you just got to adapt, and it is what it is. But that's how the season goes sometimes, and that's our schedule.
I was talking to Coach Killam. He feels like that Ottawa game was like 3 weeks ago, not like 10 days ago.
Nah, I agree with him. It felt a while ago, man. But we're ready for this game, and just been preparing.
What do you take from that Ottawa game, even though you have the buy-in in between? What do you take from that positive, and then maybe stuff you got to work in going into Montreal here?
Just myself, how I'm wired, man. Just looking at the details of things that we can fix, the things that we did good, we're supposed to do good. So not too much praise on that. Just looking at the things that we need to get better at, chemistry-wise, and just fine details.
Defensively, you got Davis Alexander. You've played against him before lots of times, I assume. I got to think because he's been injured a lot too. Yeah, but what do you see from him as a quarterback? What you got to prepare for, and what you got to kind of worry about?
He's a regular guy to me. For me, it's about getting through their offensive line. They do a lot of protections, 7-man, 8-man protection. So just finding a way to get pressure on him and affect the game defensively.
Does he he's sort of elusive, but you don't really think of him as a runner like a Trey Ford or something like that. Like what's he kind of like to play against?
I look at him more as an improviser. again, it's nothing that he does, it's what we do. So long as we do our job and we execute the calls to the fullest, I know that we'll beat them.
How do you think the defensive line is kind of sort of molding and meshing together here?
We're molding together very well. We still got some things to clean up. Chemistry is getting stronger day by day. I like where we're at as a unit, but obviously we can get better all around, and we will. We're taking it day by day, and we'll be exactly where we want to be after this game.
How do you look at a game plan like what Coach Sherritt kind of implements moving forward here to, Montreal's a hell of a measuring stick here. They're 2-0, so right now they're the best team in the league when you look at it record-wise.
I mean, yeah, you can say that, but I know we're the best team too. So it'll be a great battle up front. I'm all in on what JC has prepared for us, 100% with the game plan, and I know that we'll win.
You see all three phases starting to, even in practice, today, like even Coach Killam was saying, it started hailing out here. He's seen you guys were practicing even harder.
Yeah, man, we got to adapt to the weather, man. That's part of the game. So, it's looking like we might have another little rainy game. So, again, just being able to be out here and having that advantage over them. So when they get out here, it'll be a little different for them boys.
Were those conditions in Ottawa? That's pretty top 5, top 10 that you played in? What do you think?
Yeah, that was definitely a wet game for sure, man. Just hail and just coming down, up and down with the rain, slow down and then speed up. But, it played out to our advantage with, fumbles and, with forced fumbles and, just for fumble recoveries, man. So, thank you.
Hey, Malik, thanks for this. Good luck against the Elks.
No, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Malik Carney, he's a very bubbly personality type of guy, man. You get that just talking to him in quick little spurts like that. But thanks to Malik, thanks to Austin, and thanks to Mark Killam for their time yesterday. That's the game of the day, brought to you by St. Albert Dodge, where once again you could pick up a Jeep Compass 4x4 for under $37,000. The game is on Saturday, 2 p.m., Commonwealth Stadium. Check out stalbertdodge.com for more. Alouettes, Elks, 2 p.m. kickoff, and it's the home opener. Hopefully it's a successful one, and the Double E can go to 2-0. And once again, we're giving away tickets to every home opener right here on every home game, on Sports 1440 AM. Hey, when we come back, we're going to go in or out with the Duke of Delburne. We got Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Are new McCafe crafted sodas just drinks or something more? Like Sprite Berry Bliss, Creamy Strawberry Coke, and Orange Dream. All swirled with fizzy flavor and topped with silky cold foam. Only at McDonald's. At participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. This deal's only good till 6 o'clock tonight. We need your credit card to hold the color. Hold the color. Summer package. Winter package, and the ever-famous re-PDI fee. I gotta pay you to rebuild the car? Does this sound familiar? At Northgate, we do things differently. We offer 0% financing, a great selection of new, pre-owned vehicles. So if you'd like to do business a different way, stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
There's one game that kicks off summer, June 20th at Play Alberta Field at Commonwealth Stadium. The Elks home opener, Elks Alouettes, presented by James H. Brown, Alberta Injury Lawyers. Lock in your tickets now at goelks.com/tickets. Our city, our year.
Looking for a truck that can handle anything Alberta throws your way? Wolf GMC Buick has the offers to get you behind the wheel. Get 0% financing for up to 72 months on select new 2026 GMC Sierra 1500 models. Plus, trade in an eligible 2015 or newer pickup and receive a $1,000 truck trade-in bonus on select Sierra models. Ask about bonus offers for heroes, students, recent graduates, and more. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com.
Okay, new strategy. I'll just live in the freezer till October. It's spacious in here. It's spacious.
There's a better way to survive the coming AC season. Pro Solutions is your one-call solves-it-all expert for AC repairs, tune-ups, and new installations. We offer convenient financing options and fast appointments so you can enjoy your entire home, not just the freezer.
Now I can leave the frozen peas where they belong.
Book now at prosolutionsinc.ca.
You wanted local sports on weekends. Saturday mornings at 9, check out the Saturday Sports Setup, where we'll tee up what's happening on the weekend sports scene. Tune in Saturday morning at 9 on Sports 1440.
To the person who doesn't know a dahlia from a dandelion, hi,
your Safeway PA announcer here. Don't worry, that's our job. So enjoy our wide range of custom bouquets, build your own, and other seasonal options. Whether you know the names or not, that's the beauty of it. Whether you're celebrating a birthday, an anniversary, or just need a pop of color in the man cave, just say the occasion and our floral team will take care of the rest. For fresh flowers, visit a Safeway near you.
Get ready, outdoor enthusiasts, for the Kalmar Gun Show. Head to the Kalmar Hockey Arena Friday 3 till 8, Saturday 10 till 6, Sunday 10 till 3 for the premier event to buy, sell, and trade the best in hunting and sporting gear. Visit huntmaniashows.com.
Have your sports curiosity cured with the Kevin Karius Show. This is Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 9:50 in Edmonton. Man, it's a big day for Canada on the soccer front. This game in Vancouver, 4 o'clock against Qatar, will be Dynamite JJ in the sense that, well, both teams are looking for the first win in the 2026 World Cup. Both win, Canada's looking for its first win ever in the World Cup. And after draws by both teams in the first games of Group B, this is setting up something else. 3 points on the board. That sets things up to move on. And this is an opportunity for Canada that we have not seen. That game against Bosnia-Herzegovina, at times Canada, I re-watched it because I didn't see it live. They looked tentative at times, but they still held the play. They were in control. How many texts did we get yesterday about people that are making the day trip to Vancouver from Edmonton? That is so cool. So we got soccer fans that are heading to Vancouver. They're probably on the way right now if they haven't left already. But they're going to go watch the game and even maybe come back after the game. Is that any good? Or what? These two teams just met once before. It was a friendly back 4 years ago. Canada won 2-0. Kyle Lair and Jonathan David had the goals for Canada there. So you cannot get a better opportunity. We talked about Alphonso Davies at the top of the show. Last night, head coach Jesse Marsh said he's available, which was something that hadn't been said up until last night. You look at him in practices, what we see in practice on TV, that's nothing. The cameras are only allowed to shoot so much. You don't see the real practice. They're closed. When the cameras are allowed in and the reporters are allowed in, you see very little, very, very little. Hey, time now for In or Out, brought to you by Pro Solutions. If you need fast AC service, Pro Solutions offers expert repairs, tune-ups, installs with flexible financing. Book your appointment now at prosolutionsinc.ca.
Okay, you know what? Moving too fast. Bottom line, are you in or you out?
In or out of what?
No time for questions, just action. In or out?
Well, then I'm out.
I'm sorry, Jet. Actually, you're already in.
Are you in or are you out?
On Sports 1440.
I thought you would go, I'm in, Bob. We would have had a really cool moment, but you kind of ruined the whole thing.
All right, Duke Letterbuck.
Yesterday, both Toronto and Vegas hiring new bench bosses, leaving Edmonton as the lone vacant position across the NHL. At this point, I'm not happy about it. I don't like it. But any name that isn't Mike Babcock may as well now be put to rest for the Oilers job, at least until the league's investigation is complete.
Well, probably going to be in on this, Duke. You know how... Adam and I have been on the fact that my pick was 1, 2, and 3 was Bruce Cassidy. That was at the start of it.
Yeah.
That's a month ago.
Mm-hmm. Crazy.
A month ago. I said, first choice, Bruce Cassidy. Second, Bruce Cassidy. Third, Bruce Cassidy. That obviously ain't happening now. What's even crazier when you look at this question and what lies ahead, I have no idea what even plan B is now.
Well, that's kind of, I fielded some questions, some from family members and even the odd question here around the studio. We're out getting coffee or after the show from people, but like, all right, what are the Oilers going to do? And it seems like they are fully set on Mike Babcock being the coach. And frankly, Kevin, the only reason I even bring it up is that whether it be, as I said, people that I'm running into in person, or even this morning, still tons of text messages flooding into our station saying, what about this guy? What about this guy? What about McTavish? What if they do a little trickaroo and hire Babcock and then fire him just as soon as Cassidy becomes available? Like, we've hemmed and hawed on everything and kind of thought of a few different avenues this could have possibly taken. But as of right now, I think we're on a one-track path. And it doesn't, to the best of our knowledge and any reports from insiders and people with the privy to some more information, the Oilers are not continuing with any more interviews or exploring other options. Like, they're set on Babcock being the head coach, and in some really wild turn of events that he is not allowed to do so, or based on the findings of the investigation, then the Oilers decide to pivot away. It's essentially starting from square one in this coaching search, in my opinion, minus the fact that these other names, and I get it, some of these names maybe weren't serious contenders for the Oilers in the form of Jim Hiller, obviously, Peter Laviolette down in LA, and certainly not Ryan Craig with Vegas and Malholtra in Vancouver. Like, the only name you really missed on, I suppose, was Laviolette. So all these other potential options are still there for your taking.
Who's next on the list? Is it Craig Berube?
I would think it's a combination of Berube, maybe Daryl Sutter. I didn't really hear a ton of legs to the Sutter camp apart from just us spitballing here on this station and maybe, a few other spots, of course, as well. But or do they have to completely pivot and change what their qualifications are for who they want to be the next head coach and go a completely different avenue?
I mean, to be honest with you, your guess, anyone's guess, is as good as anyone's with this organization right now. So,
and that's kind of where I'm at. Yeah. So for the time being, so fans, listeners, texters, hey, we always appreciate you chiming in kind of regardless of the topic. You might as well just holster them for the time being.
Here's the first time that this team, and they're being forced to do, they're being forced to do this. This is the first time that this team in the last month is not putting the cart before the horse.
That's a good point.
Because and it's being forced on them.
Yeah.
And go back all the way to Bruce Cassidy. And you can talk about how it was out of their hands, but they still put the cart before the horse because they didn't have a coaching availability. They had a coach under contract before, and they decided to go the other route and put the cart before the horse because they had no vacancy. That's putting the cart before the horse. This is the first time in the last month regarding this situation that it hasn't happened.
Speaking of Vegas, Ryan Craig taking over, a former assistant with the team and spent the last couple of years head coach of the AHL program in Henderson. The team's general manager, Kelly McCrimmon, made some waves yesterday with comments about why it seems like Vegas has drawn the vitriol and hatred from teams, fan bases, etc., across the league. And his response essentially, to paraphrase, is that it's the fact that the rest of the league is jealous of the team's success and the way they've been able to, or what they've been able to accomplish and how they've been able to do it with the 3 cup final appearances and a cup championship in just 9 years of existence. And Kevin, I'm sorry, whether you like it or not, I know Oilers fans might hate to hear it. He's right.
They've had incredible success for a decade. There's no denying that. The one thing that out of all the things McCrimmon said yesterday, you can look at various things and how pissed off you could be about what he said. The one thing that's true is that every time they've gone to the Stanley Cup final, it's been with basically almost 3 different teams. There are a little bit of similarities. Obviously, Eichel, right? And there's some
of the last 2,
some consistency, but it's been different ways, different teams to get there.
The only players that have been on all 3 teams, and this is just off the top of my head, I believe are the remaining misfits, which is Will Carlson, Shea Theodore, and Braden McNabb, and then Riley Smith, who actually left and has come back and he played 1 game in the Cup final this year. I'm pretty sure those are the only players that were on all 3 teams.
So you have to give them that. So to your question, yeah, he's right. I don't know. Listen, I don't think other teams are jealous of the team's success. I don't know
other teams. I don't think so.
I
but
think
fan
fans,
bases and people that follow, I think it is a much more applicable designation.
So it's a little bit of both. So I see where you're coming from.
And this is not unique to the Vegas Golden Knights. It's not unique to hockey. It's just Connor Halley and I talk about it all the time, and it's usually in the vein of football. Like the Patriots, the Chiefs, when Patrick Mahomes first came, I was like, everyone's in love with them. They're exciting. They're fun. The high-flying offense. Then as soon as you win, then the refs give them every call. They cheat. They do this. And now everyone hates them. It happened with the Patriots. We've already seen it with the Oklahoma City Thunder. And they didn't even win, and we're starting to see it with the Spurs already. Some people turning on it and the way they play, and all of a sudden, like, success just breeds content. It's unfortunate, but it's human nature, and we're seeing it firsthand with the Vegas organization. Around the rest of the NHL, some news out yesterday via reports of insiders that veteran defenseman John Carlson not expected to re-sign with the Anaheim Ducks after joining them at the trade deadline, and is going to test the market as an unrestricted free agent. It seems his preference is to return to the Eastern Conference due to family, living situation, familiarity with things on that side of the coin. And I get it. Alex Ovechkin's status is still a question mark, but I think Carlson joins his old buddy back in the nation's capital, our friends south of the border in Washington, D.C. with the Caps.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be in on this one. Had they not won a Stanley Cup, Duke, I could see him maybe
going somewhere else.
Chasing.
Yeah.
But I think him and Ovi are so tight. And I mean, you heard what Ovi said, that was the worst day of his professional career when Carlson got traded. Somehow Ovi's going to lure him back, and Ovi's going to sign, obviously, team-friendly deal.
Well, and it's not like Washington's hard up for cap space.
No. And by the way, Carberry signed an extension today.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. So I think that helps. I'm in on this one for sure.
And the number, I think it was from Drager reporting. Apologies for not knowing for sure. But he said that a deal Carlson could be pursuing is an AAV of over $10 million.
Oh, man.
Like, he's coming off a deal that paid him $8 million, over the which stretch he has been one of the best defensemen in the NHL. He finished second in Norris Trophy the 1 year. Obviously, the point production has always been there for him.
Is he 35, Duke?
Yes. Yeah. So he's 35 years old. He's coming off a year, yes, split between two teams, but two teams that were pretty competitive for the most part. A Washington slow start, which is kind of what led them to moving on. And he missed time with injury. So I'm seeing 71 games played and 46 points. That's still, 70 points. 60 points.
Yeah.
60 points. And the rough math there as I'm trying to juggle across the columns. But so the production's still there. But like, I watched him play when he came night to night when he came over to Anaheim and in the playoffs. I just don't see him as a $10 million defenseman at this stage.
I
like,
don't
you're telling me
either.
at 35 he's getting a raise from his previous deal?
I don't either. I mean, Chikrin's their top paid guy right now at $9 million. It's hard to believe that they have all this cap space, really, when you think about it. What do you like when you look at Ovi too? Is he going to sign something like a Malkin, a little bit more with bonuses and things like that? Probably.
I could see Ovechkin sign like a 1 year, $3 million.
Oh, I bet it's more than that.
You think so?
Yeah, they're going to pay him more.
But like, once again, we talk about this all the time when players are at the end, like, especially when they've made, as like Ovechkin's been one of, and at the time, the highest paid player in the league.
Yeah.
And he's got his cup. If the reason he wants to stay here is to keep being competitive, you're putting your team in a better position where you just take, like a veteran. It's not a league man or a $1 million Jamie Benn deal, and he's still a better player than Jamie Benn is. But
made a lot of dough.
Like, do you think it's $6 million?
Yeah, like, and it was Malkin's 2 years or 1 year.
Good question.
I thought it was just one, but I can't remember. But it was like 5.5 with bonuses and stuff like that. Correct.
Malkin's new deal is 1 year, $5.5
There you
million.
go. So yeah, I think it'd be something like that, maybe a touch more with bonuses. Ovi's made $175 million.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah,
that is a lot of money. Over to the pitch. Canada taking on Qatar today, 4:00 in their second group stage match. They'll actually know the result of the other teams in the group, as Bosnia-Herzegovina and Switzerland will play right before them on today's schedule. Just a simple game day prediction for our lads playing this game in Vancouver. And as you said, Kev, lots of people traveling to take this one in at BC Place. I think you kind of said it off the top. This is a great opportunity for Canada. I see them seizing it. I'm going with a 2-0 victory for the boys in the Maple.
I'm going to agree with you, Duke. I'm going to be with you. 2-0 the final. Canada moves to the top of the table, likely be tied with the Swiss, which it's a little different how I thought it was going to play out, Duke. But what did I say? It's going to be Canada, Swiss in the final Group B matchup for first place moving forward. Now, here's the other thing. If, let's just say, Canada scores 2 goals and for some reason, maybe the Swiss only win 1-0. Now you think you get a draw. You get a draw against Swiss and you win the pool.
Mm-hmm.
Win the
Yeah,
group.
it would definitely change the game plan, I think, going into Switzerland in terms of how you approach it and what your hopeful outcome is. Like you said, you of course still want to win the match, but all of a sudden you're infinitely more content with a draw because you've already guaranteed yourself first place if that were to be the result against Switzerland. So any ideas on maybe a goal scorer or two if we do think Canada will get a pair?
I'm going to say Jonathan David. I picked
You think
him
he
last game.
he bounces back?
I think he gets one.
I mean, he gets subbed off, and then within a few minutes, Lawrence scores, which was great, and it kind of started to beg the question.
I think both guys start, don't they, today?
I wouldn't be surprised.
I think both guys start today.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I could see David with a little bit of a nice bounce back after he didn't have the game that he probably wanted against Bosnia and Herzegovina. Finally, Kev, this is something I'm sure is very particular for you. You're an avid.
I've been waiting for this.
You're an avid fisherman. It is today. It is national. Excuse me. Today is National Go Fishing Day. Rain coming down. Some people say that's the best time to go, if it's just a light rain to get the fish biting. But at the lake, and that's an important qualifier here. At the lake, fishing off the dock is preferable to off the boat.
Well, Duke, I'm going to be out on this one.
I knew you would be.
Because I'm throwing the next one into the grouping, and that is the best option is in hip waders.
Really?
Yeah. And I could tell you some of the most enjoyable, best fishing, and Louis DeBrusque will attest to this because I've gone with Louis many times to a place called Fortress Lake for brook trout. And it's unbelievable. We go down to Chisel Creek, Chisel River, and you wade into Fortress from the river system, and you're up to whatever, I don't know how, as deep as you want to go, up to your arse. And that is the best. For me, that's the most enjoyable time I've ever had fishing, except for, well, not except, but like, I mean, in a boat at Dipper Lake is up there too, Duke, but the quality of fish up there it's second to none.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I've worn hip waders, but it's usually been more for a utility type purpose, not a leisurely activity. So it hasn't been for longer periods of time. You're out there, you're up to your, let's say, belly button in the water. What happens when you got to take a leak?
Well, you leave the water and then you take your hip
That's
wader.
just disappointing.
Well, what do you do? You're not.
Where do you got like
spoil yourself?
Well, that's what I mean. You got a floating cooler that you're bringing along out beside you.
Well, see, Duke, for some of us, when you go fishing, it's not all about drinking and
Well,
fishing.
I didn't say there was beer in the cooler. What if it's just a nice crisp Pepsi or a bottle?
No. I'm not doing that.
A plastic bottle of disgusting water.
I've got
you're just drinking the lake water, probably. You are, you sicko.
Yeah, absolutely. No. So you'd take your waders down and then just relieve yourself.
See, I just think and I understand you're not getting the same quality of actual fishing and probably what you're catching. I'm about as amateur as a fisherman as you ever get. I've only ever been a couple times in my life. But like from the dock compared to being out in the water, whether it be in the waders or out into the more in the middle, obviously with the boat.
Well,
but the convenience and elements of just being on the dock, where whether it be you got to use the bathroom, you got to freshen your drink, you nothing's going, so you just take an hour off, and then you come back and try again later.
Here's the thing, too, Doc.
If you're out in the boat, you're trapped. You're out there.
Yeah, but you're tied
committed.
you're tied to the dock too, as well, Duke.
Always.
Well, where else are you going to go?
Out in the middle of the lake.
No. But if you say that the dock is better, fishing off the dock is preferable. Well, you're tied to the dock. You can't move around. You're on the dock. You're casting from the dock.
You just set your pole down, and then you go off and find the right bush, or if you got a cabin or something to use the bathroom, or grab another group of cold ones out of the fridge.
No, most guys, you would just have a leak into the lake if you're sitting on.
I would think so, but then you're catching those same fish. What if you want to eat them?
Ah, come on now.
I can't remember what show was a joke.
Yeah.
It's like someone offered this guy like a drink of water as his old timer. He's like, oh, never touch the stuff.
Yeah.
Fish, bleep in it. So never drink water.
I'll tell you a funny story, Duke. This is probably 40 years ago, maybe, a little more than 40 years ago. Myself, Johnny Lay, a good friend of mine, Johnny Night Train Lay, and my dad we were fishing at Crooked Lake. And Dad was a pretty big guy, so we were in a boat, and it was just an aluminum boat. Anyway, he was having a leak off the end of the boat, or maybe it was the back end because he was driving. Yeah, so Johnny and I were up front. Anyway, Dad has the leak in the lake. Comes back, sits down. He goes, "Man, is that water cold?" So Johnny and I both laughed, and then he looked at us and said, "And deep too." You get it, Josh? Oh, he says he wasn't listening to that. Good stuff on In or Out, Duke. Brought to you by Pro Solutions. If you need fast AC service, that's the place to be. Check them out at prosolutionsinc.ca. When we come back, we'll get to Luke Easterling. Quick little segment before we get to him, but we were a little over time at the top of the hour. Time now for a Sports 1440 update. Brought to you by Fusion Promo Marketing. Expand your brand. High-quality promotional products for businesses, sports teams, corporate events. Get noticed at fusionpromomarketing.ca. That's Fusion with a Z. Here is the Duke.
The Sports 1440 update.
Team Canada game number 2 from the World Cup today out in Vancouver, taking on Qatar in Group B play. Kickoff coming just after 4 o'clock. Alphonso Davies, according to head coach Jesse March, is available for the contest. Other World Cup games today, Czechia taking on South Africa. That's starting here right away from Atlanta. And then at 1 o'clock, Switzerland and Bosnia and Herzegovina go at it from Los Angeles. The nightcap, host nation Mexico from Guadalajara taking on Korea. That kicking off at 7. From the NHL offseason, Washington Capitals signing head coach Spencer Carver to a multi-year extension announced earlier on this morning. And the Boston Bruins making an announcement that this upcoming season they will be retiring former captain and Stanley Cup champion Patrice Bergeron's number 37. In the majors today, lighter slate, just 9 games total, but the Blue Jays will wrap up their set in Boston against the Red Sox. First pitch coming just after 11:30 this morning. Trey Savage on the hill for Toronto. Sonny Gray countering for Boston. And the Riverhawks, they wrap up their set in Wenatchee tonight, looking to avoid the sweep against the Apple Sox, getting underway at 7:30. Finally, U.S. Open from Shinnecock Hills on Long Island. Brooks Koepka tied atop the leaderboard right now. He is 1 under through 7. Alongside him is Christopher Wright, Sam Burns, Patrick Reed, Ludwig Oberg, Brian Harmon, and Ben James on a crowded leaderboard. High Canadian at the moment is Nick Taylor, who is +1 through 6. Coming up in hour 4 of the Kevin Karius Show, we'll be joined by Luke Easterling from Athlon Sports covering the NFL. I'm Brandon Douglas at your Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Are you looking for safe and reliable transportation solutions for your wedding, corporate retreat, or golf trip? Look no further than Silent Rides, Alberta's premier charter bus company. Whether your group is big or small, Silent Rides has you covered. We offer 3 different sizes of units to cater to your needs, and we provide first-class service at affordable rates. Get your quote today. For more information and to request a quote, contact sales at 877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
Mr. Rooter buries evidence in the desert.
I didn't mean to do it. I was forced into it. Yeah, forced. But now, no one will ever know. You've done well, Mr. Rooter. You did something awful, but you covered your tracks. It's done. The last transcript that shows I did a semester of nutrition school.
Uncover evidence of the proudest plumber, Mr. Rooter.
Guys, there never seems to be enough time in the day, but you need to make time for this. Ken Franchek here. If you're 40 or over, a quick PSA blood test is crucial for early prostate cancer detection. The Prostate Cancer Center's Man Van is a mobile health clinic driving change for men's health. A few minutes could save your life. To get the Man Van out to your business or event, book today at getcheck.ca.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Equipment Auction is this Friday at 9 a.m. featuring articulated dump trucks, backhoes, excavators, forklifts, graders, loaders, packers, reclaimer, skid steers, telehandlers, turf mowers, plus commercial trailers. Info at maauctions.com.
It might have been scraped by the snowblower, dented while door crashing, or crunched at the company Christmas party. At some point over the winter, your car was damaged and it's been hiding under a coat of winter grime.
Then come and see Robertson Body Works. We can take care of the damage and the dirt. This week only, call and book a repair and get a complete auto detailing absolutely free.
But you have to book your appointment before the week is up. Go to robertsonbodyworks.com.
I'm Tim Robertson, and I fix cars.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's next Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Industrial Auction is this Friday at 9 a.m. featuring a large selection of 2020 to 2014 Caterpillar, John Deere, and Volvo articulated dump trucks. Info at maauctions.com.
Have your sports curiosity cured with the Kevin Karius Show. This is Sports 1440.
Little segment here before we get to Luke Easterling from Athlon Sports, talk a little NFL. Get to one text regarding, Kelly McCrimmon talking about how jealous people are. And again, I don't think teams are. Bramer Johnny says, how many cups did the Oilers and Islanders have in their first 10 years of existence? Yeah, because, and that's a very good point because obviously 1 cup in the 9 years for the Vegas Golden Knights, 3 finals. 72 or whatever, 73 when the Islanders came in. So give them a couple cups in the first 10 years. The Oilers came in 79. So they get 4 cups. So their first 10 years by far, way better. And think about how these two teams were assembled through the draft. How were the Vegas Golden Knights assembled? Through the expansion draft, free agency, trades. Yes, the Islanders made trades. Yes, the Oilers made trades. But the makeup and how these 2 teams or 3 teams were assembled, vastly different, way different eras for sure, Framer Johnny. I think it's a lot tougher. You'd have to say it's way tougher to get to the Stanley Cup final now than it was back in the 80s, early 80s, especially because the parity in the NHL wasn't like it is right now. Like the text, though, like the comparison, for sure. 833-401-1440. When we come back, Luke Easterling from Athlon Sports. It's a bit of a slower downtime in the NFL, but Luke will keep us up to date and give us his take on what's going on here in the next little bit before we get to camp and the whole kit and caboodle. It's the Kevin Karius Show with the Duke of Delburne. Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Best way to experience Elks football is being there when it happens. From single game to flex packs, group tickets, and family packs. Your seats, your way. Ticket packs available now at goelks.com/tickets. Edmonton Elks. Our city, our year.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is serious about cooling. In fact, we offer multiple ways to cool your home. So you better
call Legacy. Call Legacy.
If you're looking for traditional air conditioning, we got you.
Call Legacy.
Or ask us about a heat pump to help you heat and cool.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Cool with AC or cool with a heat pump. Cool your home with Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Bashaw Concrete Products. From concrete and septic tanks to blocks, precast water pads, jersey barriers and aggregates. Farmers, contractors, homeowners. Plan your next project at BashawConcrete.com. Family owned, over 60 years pouring. Bashaw Concrete Products. Once again, start here. BashawConcrete.com.
From the first pitch to the final out. Catch Toronto Blue Jays baseball games live right here. Don't miss a moment of Blue Jays baseball this season. Sports 1440 is proud to be the home of Blue Jays baseball.
Photographers, start your cameras. Vision Credit Union's annual photo contest is back. We're asking you to show us the people, places, and moments that made you glad you chose this rural life. Maybe it's the view from your farm, a walk down Main Street, neighbors pitching in, a weekend at the rodeo, or a sunset down a back road. Share your photo to show why life in rural Alberta is a choice worth celebrating. Enter and vote at whatsyourshare.ca.
I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. The goal of every one of the thousands of hair restoration procedures I've performed is a full, natural-looking head of hair. I work directly with my patients for the consultation, the procedure, and the follow-up, so we can achieve the best results possible. When people see what we accomplish, I don't want them to think, "Wow, great hair transplant." I want them to think, "Wow, great hair." Go to drvanceelliott.com and contact us today.
Stories, guests, and insights. This is Sports 1440 and the Kevin Karius Show.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 10:20 in Edmonton. Just before we get to our next guest, Emily Kaplan reporting that the NHL investigation on Mike Babcock is wrapping up shortly. Per ESPN sources, Emily tweets out, expectation is Babcock will be cleared to coach and the Oilers want to hire him. We'll talk about that momentarily. First now, talk a little NFL with Luke Easterling from Athlon Sports. Good morning, Luke. You're with Kevin Karius. Thanks for jumping on Sports 1440 this morning. Really appreciate it.
Hey, my pleasure, Kevin. Glad to be here, man.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a downtime in the NFL, Luke, as you know, but some news regarding Brendan Sorsby. You had a recent article in the Athlon regarding potential landing spots. Where and why do you think the spots that you wrote about, Luke, are where you think that he could possibly be taken in the NFL supplemental draft?
Yeah, it's funny. Every time we joke about the NFL not having an offseason, this is the kind of stuff that ensures that never happens, right? Is because that even when you feel like you're going to get to, okay, June is like the only month. We're coming out of May and it's, we've recapped the draft. We're looking ahead to next year. June is supposed to be the quiet time. And then this kind of stuff always pops up. It's the Myles Garrett trade. It's the AJ Brown trade. Like something always happens to keep us on our toes. But no, in terms of Sorsby, this is going to be an interesting conversation because this is not just a football conversation, Kevin. This is something that I think first and foremost, all of us that write about this and try to analyze this, we try to keep this at the forefront, that we just hope the young man gets the help he needs off the field, that he, as a person, as a human being, has what he needs to get better. And so the football side of it is a bit easier, right? The football side is, going into this past draft, when we thought maybe he would declare for this draft, he was a day 2 prospect for me, which is like second, third round. I know a lot of people have kind of thrown out there that he was a surefire first round pick. I'm not sure I agree with that. I'm not sure the league did either, which I think influenced his decision to go back to college, obviously, as much as the money did. But this is going to come down to teams, like I said, I wrote in the piece, there's the Jets, the Cardinals, teams that did just draft young quarterbacks, even the Steelers. But, if you're really enamored with the next quarterback, you're not going to not take that guy. Go ask the Arizona Cardinals, who took, Kyler Murray at number 1 a year after trading up for Josh Rosen in the top 10. If you drafted a guy in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round last year at quarterback and you find a shiny new toy at the position a year later, even a few months later, that's not going to keep you from taking another swing at that position. And so the conversation for NFL teams will be, how do we feel about him as a football player? But more importantly, with regards to the supplemental draft, at what point in this process are we comfortable giving up our pick in this round next year? Because that's how it works, right? You basically bid a pick in the round where you're comfortable taking him. And if you're awarded that player, if you gave a 3rd round pick, you lose your 3rd round pick in next year's draft. Next year's draft could be pretty sweet at quarterback. I know we say that pretty often, but that's going to come into it. But teams are going to have to weigh that with the fact that he's going to come into the league basically with a couple of strikes against him, and the league has made it clear that they do not abide this whole betting nonsense. Go ask Calvin Ridley, who was suspended for an entire year. I mean, if he has an issue in this area again, you may be spending a pick on a guy who never plays a snap in the NFL. That's how serious this could be down the line.
Yeah, Luke Easterling, Athlon Sports, great comments there. You know, when I look at all your list in the article, for some reason, I just keep circling back to Pittsburgh. And everyone knows the situation there. But for me, it's the most intriguing possibility. Do you think that they would take a chance on this guy?
I think it's possible. Again, you've got, Aaron Rodgers said this is going to be his last season. You look at what they've done at the position over the last couple of years. 2 years ago, they spent a 5th-round pick on Will Howard, who was coming off that national title run at Ohio State. This past year, they take a guy in Drew Aller. Those two guys could not be more opposed, right? Will Howard is kind of the gritty grinder guy who's not your traditional, NFL quarterback, but he's a winner and he's got the leadership capabilities. He's tough. He's athletic. He's got some of those things. But he's definitely a sum of his parts kind of guy and not a physical tools kind of guy. Then they spend a 3rd-round pick this year on Drew Aller, who is the complete opposite of that, right? Who came into the college ranks with all these tools, all this talent, and it just never came together. He could never get Penn State over the hump. He could never kind of find that consistency as a passer in terms of the accuracy, the decision-making, the turnovers, and then obviously the sad injury that kind of ended his career prematurely last season. And so he misses so much of the pre-draft process, the workouts. He's not able to, show what he can do. And the Steelers still take a chance on him in the 3rd round. And I like him as a developmental piece there. But again, none of that is going to prevent the Steelers from taking a quarterback they think gives them a better chance to win, now if something happened to Rodgers or beyond this season. And so, that organization knows what they're doing in a lot of ways. And so I think they could look at it and say, hey, this is a place where we've had players who have had various, issues, and we found a way to make it work. Now, that was all under Mike Tomlin. He's not there anymore. I wonder how it would work under McCarthy and whoever might be in charge in the future. But they're an intriguing match. That's why they were on that list. But all of those teams have different factors that they've got to consider for where they are as a franchise, what they need, what they're willing to kind of risk, and how early they would take that chance in the supplemental draft.
Luke Easterling with us on the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440. I just wanted to kind of go off the field here for a moment, if you don't mind, Luke, and talk about the broadcasting situation with the NFL and the league, because, it's something, it's not similar, but we're going through a change in the NHL with what's going to be happening here at the end of the month. Things are so different with the issues that are going on with what's going on in the broadcasting situation moving forward with streaming and everything else going in that pushing to that sense and that position in broadcasting. But subscriptions, streaming, how do you think things are going to play out here? And is the league walking a slippery slope here in your mind?
Yeah, they have been for quite a while, I think. And listen, I think the NFL is always going to gamble on the fact that they're the biggest show in town and that fans will just figure out a way to watch. And I think that the struggle in that is that fans are always going to be the ones who lose out in the way this has expanded, because I'll give you a window. Like, we are doing some research this summer for a magazine that we're working on some of the greatest teams in NFL history. And so I'm going back and I'm watching these old tapes. I'm watching these even just, as far back as the 90s, which isn't that long ago. It really is not. And just experiencing the game from that time, where there's not even like a score bug on the screen for the entire game, and there's no ads anywhere there. It was such an interesting kind of re-immersion to remember, like, wow, it really used to be like this. And now you fast forward nowadays to where if you want to watch every NFL game, I think you have to subscribe to like 8 different subscription services. And I just, that's a loss for the fan. It really is. It's an accessibility issue to the fans. We went from when I was a kid growing up in Tampa and the Bucks were so bad, we never could watch the home games on TV because they were all blacked out. And so that issue has now been transformed into, okay, it's not just blackouts. It's, I have to have Peacock or Netflix or YouTube TV or all of these different things to watch all these games. And I just think it's a loss for the fans, because at the end of the day, I think most fans are going to figure out a way to do it. And that bothers me, because the league's not hurting. The league, has plenty of money. I understand their want to, in terms of like international games, you want to expand the reach of the league, expand the interest in the sport. And I completely support that, because I love the game. But in terms of the broadcasting thing, man, I just think it's such a bad deal for the fans because it makes them chase every game all year. It's only getting more expensive as everything is. And so it's frustrating to be not just someone who covers the game, but someone who's a fan of the game and really wants to make sure that the game is as visible and accessible to every fan as possible. And I just don't think the way the system's working right now checks that box.
Yeah, I mean, it's safe to say, Luke, I mean, that the NFL has set the hook on all the fans, but do you think the fans will ever spit it out? You know what I mean?
I mean, so far, no. It's one of those things where it's a large scale thing, right? I think some people may already have done that and said, they've drawn their line and be like, you know what, I'm not subscribing to another thing. I'm not doing that. And maybe somebody's sharing a password. Maybe you're finding out a way to get together and do certain things where not everybody has to do that. But I think we're going to find out, Kevin. I think we're going to find out if they continue to push this too far and continue to make things more and more expensive, less and less accessible. I think there might become a time where, again, this is all connected to a lot of things that are happening in the world in terms of, how expensive things are. But like, you're going to get to a point where people that decision is made for them, where they can't afford those things. And that's been happening in terms of, attendance. Go look at the NBA finals prices, and tell me how accessible that game was for just a regular person, working a regular job. And so there's a lot of levels to this, Kevin, but I think at some point, for some people, that decision has already been made in terms of the cost, and some people that day is yet to come.
Right.
But I do think the NFL's playing with fire here. I really do.
I'm with you too as well, and it's not just it's every league. Every league is going that way, and that's what we're seeing. And you see it in baseball and hockey coming up here too as well. Luke Easterling, Athlon Sports, our guest on the Kevin Karius Show here on Sports 1440 AM radio. What other storylines are you chasing here? You think, Luke, in the next couple of weeks as we get moving into where the OTAs or in mini camps and everything like that are coming to a conclusion and getting into camp, et cetera, et cetera. What's top of list for you moving forward here in the next little bit?
I think what's interesting to me is contract extensions, that people are negotiating. Maybe they want and they're not getting. Again, I told you I'm a Tampa guy, so they've got a couple down there. Baker Mayfield, last year of his deal in Tampa, he made it clear he wants a deal before training camp starts, or he's not going to negotiate any further. And whatever offer may have changed hands, it sounds like they're still pretty far apart. Vita Vea, who's their dominant nose tackle, he was a hold in at minicamp this week. He was there, but he wasn't practicing because he wants a raise. He's in the last year of his deal. But the one that's intriguing to me is Lamar Jackson in Baltimore. He's got 2 years left on his deal. But Patrick Mahomes just got a new deal a couple of years early, and he got a nice raise. Right now, Lamar Jackson's the 11th highest paid quarterback in the NFL because of how many guys have gotten new deals lately. I mean, he's making less than Trevor Lawrence, less than Jordan Love, less than Brock Purdy. When Daniel Jones is making $44 million and Lamar's making $55, like that kind of puts it in context as to why he might want some more money. But I did write an article. I had a little bit of fun with some of the rumors out there that everybody's like, oh, maybe Baltimore's going to trade him after this season if he's not. And so I wrote a fun little piece about, what would a Lamar Jackson trade look like? And you might think I'm going to present some potential trade packages, but I really just wrote about how stupid it would be to trade him and why it's never going to happen. So those are the things that I think between now and training camp. Obviously, you want everybody to stay healthy. Please don't do anything silly off the field and get hurt. Do it at a private workout or something. Everybody stays healthy going to training camp, but be following those contract issues, because those are the types of things where if they don't get handled before camp, they could bleed into camp, and we've seen before how that can negatively impact the team's energy going into the season.
Maybe Lamar needs a better agent, Luke.
I don't know. He's done pretty well for himself so far. His career earnings are pretty high. Him and his mom are doing a good job.
Yeah, they've saved a lot of money on agency fees.
That 3% is a lot when you get 185 guaranteed.
Yeah, you got that right. Luke Easterling with us from Athlon Sports. When you mentioned Baker Mayfield, and again, you got boots on the ground in Tampa. What do you think they're looking at there to keep that quarterback with the Buccos?
I think it's a tricky spot for everybody involved, because they both love each other. Like they make no bones about that. Like, we like the energy he brings. We like the presence as a quarterback, but like They signed him at 3 years at $100 million a couple years ago. This is the last year of that deal. At $33 million, he's not even in the top half of starting quarterbacks. And so from Baker's perspective, he's going to say, hey, when I was healthy, go back to 2024, 40 touchdowns, 4,500 yards, 41 touchdowns, tied for second in the league with Lamar Jackson. He'll say, and then the early part of last year, he was in the MVP conversation. The Bucs were 6-2, and he was dealing. And then everybody got hurt. He didn't play a single game last year, Kevin, with his entire starting offensive line. And so then he was banged up later. So the Bucs will look at it and say, hey, if we want to extend him long term, if it's going to cost us $50-55 million a year, is that something we're comfortable with at the highest level of what he can do? Obviously, you know how this goes. The agent's going to say, look, this is what he can do when he's healthy. The Bucs are going to say, yeah, but if he's not, we're paying $55 million for a guy who can be inconsistent. That's a tough spot to be. At the end of the day, I think both sides want to make something happen, and they'll both give a little to make it work. And I think something probably gets done. But it's just not the kind of question you want to have hanging over your franchise going into training camp. It's really not.
What kind of bump do you think Vita Vea is looking for here, Luke, from his $18 million a year?
I think it's less about the amount of the bump and more about the long-term security, because this is, again, it's a weird spot for a team to be in, because he's going to look and say, hey, Dexter Lawrence just got 30, but Dexter Lawrence doesn't turn 32 in February, which Vita Vea does. And so the Bucs are looking at it and saying, hey, you're already getting $18 million a year. We can give you a little bit more than that. But I think Vita's much more interested in, hey, this is the last year of my deal. I don't know where I'm going to be next year. I don't know where I'm going to play. He's got one more bite at the apple, right? At 31 years old, he's got one more shot to get some meat on that bone of a next contract. And I think he's not going to squabble. I would guess, this isn't inside info, this is my projection. Like, I would guess that if it's we want to give you $20 million a year and you want 21, I don't think it's going to come down to that. I think it's going to come down to, hey, can you guarantee me a 2 years of a 3-year deal and make sure for the next few years I'm going to be able to set up so that when I do hang my cleats up a few years after that I make sure I'm set up and I can settle here in Tampa. I think that's much more what this is about with him.
Hey, Luke, thanks so much for your time this morning. It's a little bit of a downer time for everybody getting ready for the NFL, but it's right around the corner. Hope you enjoy a little bit of downtime, because things are going to start heating up here right away. As always, thanks for coming on. Really appreciate it. Have a great rest of your summer.
Hey, likewise, Kevin. Thanks so much, buddy.
You betcha. Luke Easterling from Athlon Sports. Great comments. Vita Vea, he's been that plugger, that run plugger right in the middle. Love it when a guy that wears no gloves too. Like, he's just, he's got the bare hands in the dirt, and his fingers are like, they make those pork sausages that you find down at Costco. They look like tiny little fingerlings. He's got the big paws on him, and man, oh man, he's a stout guy. Just before we go to break, the NHL released a statement on Mike Babcock. It's kind of the way they word it. I don't know if you've seen it yet, Duke, but here's the wording. The National Hockey League today released the following statement regarding the investigation of Mike Babcock. The league has completed its review of Mike Babcock's tenure in Columbus and of certain alleged conduct associated therewith. Our investigation is concluded that even in a light least favorable to Mr. Babcock, there is no current basis to restrict his employment in the league. I'm sure we're going to talk about this when we come back. There's much more to discuss. I'm sure Duke will have some on Fantasy Frenzy, and obviously on the Lowdown with Alan Mitchell and the Jason Greger Show. Much more, because now you would think that the Oilers will be making an announcement quite shortly, maybe as early as tomorrow. Who knows? Monday, next week. The draft, obviously, a week from tomorrow in Buffalo. Kevin Karius Show with the Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
There's one game that kicks off summer, June 20th at Play Alberta Field at Commonwealth Stadium. The Elks home opener, Elks Alouettes, presented by James H. Brown, Alberta Injury Lawyers. Lock in your tickets now at goelks.com/tickets. Our city, our year.
Get ready for a night of rock with the Gene Simmons Band. Monday, November 30th at Silent Ice Center in Nisku. The Gene Simmons Band, performing your favorite classic hits. Monday, November 30th at Silent Ice Center in Nisku. Tickets on sale now at silenticecenter.com. Don't miss the Gene Simmons Band.
Did you know there are actually 3 seasons we experience in June? Spring, summer, and construction season. And while roads may be narrowed and detours are everywhere, GS construction crews are on site every day doing the work because the city doesn't stop, and neither do we. As we build and upgrade infrastructure, life continues around us. That's why we never lose sight of what matters most, making sure everyone, including our team, returns home safely at the end of the day. For more on what we do, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Saturday, June 20th is the day to be at Harley-Davidson of Edmonton on the Yellowhead Trail. Come live the legend because the HD semi-truck is rolling in, bringing you the exclusive chance to test ride the powerful new 2026 models. All you need is your riding gear and Class 6 license to ride. Be there to enter to win a 2026 Liberty Edition Heritage Classic, door prizes, and more. Don't miss the ultimate ride event of the summer. Locally owned and operated since 1980. Visit Harley-Davidson of Edmonton on the Yellowhead Trail or at hdedmonton.com.
Getting your vehicle sparkling clean doesn't have to cost a fortune. Take it into Hughes today and pay just loonies a wash.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
Say hello to your new favorite drinks. Introducing new McCafe Refreshers. Icy cool, undeniably refreshing, and available in 3 flavors. Strawberry watermelon, mango pineapple, and blackberry passion fruit. Only at McDonald's.
Don't miss a moment of Blue Jays baseball this season. Join play-by-play announcer Ben Showman for the game, live on Sports 1440. The Toronto Blue Jays are on Edmonton's home for all things sports. Sports 1440.
Photographers, start your cameras. Vision Credit Union's annual photo contest is back. We're asking you to show us the people, places, and moments that made you glad you chose this rural life. Maybe it's the view from your farm, a walk down Main Street, neighbors pitching in, a weekend at the rodeo, or a sunset down a back road. Share your photo to show why life in rural Alberta is a choice worth celebrating. Enter and vote at whatsyourshare.ca.
Get ready, outdoor enthusiasts, for the Kalmar Gun Show. Head to the Kalmar Hockey Arena Friday 3 till 8, Saturday 10 till 6, Sunday 10 till 3 for the premier event to buy, sell, and trade the best in hunting and sporting gear. Visit huntmaniashows.com.
Your game,
Your station, Sports 1440.
and watch us on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
All right, welcome back to the big program. 10:42 in Edmonton. Kevin Karius, Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick of the air, the home stretch of the big program. Hey, a couple programming notes for tomorrow and next week. Next week, excited, we'll have Chris Cuthbert in on Wednesday morning to discuss his Hockey Hall of Fame induction that'll be coming up in November. Wonderful career, much more runway yet. Lots to do for CC. So we'll have him on Wednesday. Tomorrow, golfing with the G-Man. Todd Graves is going to be our guest. Now, if you want to do a little bit of a Google search on this guy, go ahead, because he's sort of, it's a book out about, it's called The Single Plane Swing and how golfers go about it. He has a strong connection to Mo Norman, as does Gary Meyer. So this will be a great conversation with Gary and Todd discussing how Mo Norman used to address, strike, and do everything with the ball. Every golfer on the planet has said Mo Norman is like, the swing is frightening. He would have dents in his irons from the ball hitting exactly the same spot all the time. And you won't want to miss that tomorrow, golfing with the G-Men for the Country Club Tour. So in case you missed it, the NHL investigation is over. it's done regarding Mike Babcock and what happened in Columbus. The NHL has said the investigation found it concluded that even in a light least favorable to Mr. Babcock, there is no current basis to restrict his employment in the league, which leads everyone to believe now that Mike Babcock will be the next head coach of the Edmonton Oilers. Announcement, you would think, here shortly before the draft, and then there will be the draft free agency moving forward. The one thing that I will take, if you remember, and this has been going on for weeks, and what was said, the comment from Bob Stauffer, the comment saying that this is inevitable, the comment saying ownership, management, and the players were on board with this. And then Mark Spector saying in articles that the players discussed and talked to Mike Babcock about, moving forward and about being the next head coach of this team. If you go back to when Stan Bowman had his media availability after the firing of Chris Knobloch, the one thing that he did say, because he was asked, how much will Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl be involved in the hiring of the next head coach? I believe the words of Stan were something to the effect that they would talk to them, but they would not be involved in, say, an interview process, which leads you to believe, well, they were involved in part of the interview process, were they not, if they had discussions with Mike Babcock, as did some of the core leadership group. A lot is going to bust down here. Things are going to be breaking here with the Oilers. Mike Babcock in the next, today, over the weekend, and then into Monday. And there's no way that he's not the next head coach of the Edmonton Oilers. So, hey, I'll say I was wrong. I believed it was Bruce Cassidy from day one. I think like everyone else, believed that it would get to the stage that it has gotten to here in the last 30 days or whatever it is. But one thing you can say, and one thing is certain, that the organization has handled many things here in the last month not well. And if the organization tries to spin it otherwise, that's wrong. I mean, you can't go looking for a new head coach when you have one under contract. Again, how many times has the organization in the last month put the cart before the horse? Hasn't been handled well at all. You had no vacancy, but you're looking for another coach. Fire your coach. That's the first thing. If you didn't want your coach to be the guy moving forward, can him. For all intents and purposes, it should have been done in March after the Olympic break when Connor McDavid said what he said. It should have been coupled with what Leon Draisaitl said. You had to have known then if that was the route that you were going to be going. If they have a healthy lineup, how about that? If they have a healthy lineup and they beat Anaheim, who knows what happens against Vegas? You don't know. I would say listeners would agree if the Oilers were healthy, McDavid were healthy, Leon Draisaitl was healthy, whomever else, Zach Hyman, go on down the list. I would say that most people would think that they would have beaten Anaheim in the first round. Does that save Chris Knobloch's job? Do they even go down that route? What if they win another round? Then what? Eddie texts in 833-401-1440. Good day. Be careful what you wish for Babcock. Ulsterman says, if this season goes sideways, which more signs point to that happening than a huge year, Bowman, Babcock, Jackson need to be all punted to the sun. Eddie says, if they make this decision, this only solidifies why I gave up my season tickets a few years ago and are going to be the laughing stock of the NHL. Bobby, hey, Karius, when the Oilers team leadership group got together with Babcock and expressed interest in the idea that players would be held accountable, do you think they consider themselves to be part of the problem? They have to, Bobby. Said it many times. if the word is we need to be pushed, you should have been pushing yourself. If you need a guy to come in, like whoever the coach is, it doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter if it's Babcock or whoever. Pick a guy from Alberta colleges. I don't know. Pick Zach Daly from McEwen. Don't care. If you need a guy to come in and push you, you're in the wrong business. Janice says maybe they're trying to beat Vegas at their own game. And we've had lots of this, Jana, people saying about hire Babcock, Vegas releases Cassidy, fire Babcock, fire Cassidy. Don't see it ever going that way. KK Bruce says, do you think the Oilers get UPL and Byram for Nurse? What would it take? It would take Nurse and a whole hell of a lot more, Bruce, in the park. I saw your text earlier. No way, no how, not a chance. You're getting Byram and UPL for Nurse. You would have to give up a whole hell of a lot for that. Darcy says Tortorella. A lot of guys have texted that in as well. Hammer says you can't say other teams don't look for a new coach while one is already under contract. The problem is that it got out. Well, here's the difference, Hammer. It happens all the time in the regular season when you're making a coaching change during the regular season, because you're not firing your guy in the regular season if you don't have the other guy in place. That's just a simple fact. The Oilers would have never hired Chris Knobloch if he weren't available. Maybe the Rangers organization says, no, we want to keep this guy. We're going to offer him something else. You go to that organization and say, listen, can we have this guy? Bang. Yes, you can have him. And that's the way it works. This is way different when it's out of season. And that's what this was. Chomsker says, McDavid hinted he stays out of all manager duties, but Frank Saravalli talks about Hyman initiating the hiring. Ekholm, Draisaitl, Nuge, Jari were asked about Babs. Madison says, hasn't Tort said he won't coach in Canada, or is that not true? I have no idea. No idea. Dave in LA, KK, maybe your boy Saravalli shouldn't have leaked it to the media and forced Bowman's hand to fire Knobloch. Well, if he leaked it to the media, do you have an idea, Dave, where he got it from? Do you think the Oilers maybe wanted him to leak it to the media, thinking that they could push someone's hand here? Is that a possibility? Daryl says, hey, KK, remember the wording. They invested Columbus, not his total career. KK Oilers can forget about any free agent coming here unless they overpay. That comes from Heffy. We're going to see this quickly, are we not? We're going to see if, I'll tell you what, the number one, if Mike Babcock is hired here on a Friday or a Monday or Tuesday or whatever it is, and July 1 rolls around and Connor Murphy signs elsewhere, you're going to know. Or Dickinson. Will you not know that they didn't want to play here? Because they loved it here. They absolutely loved it here. Yes, the dollars have to work. Money has to work. To me, that's going to be the number one, Connor Murphy. If Connor Murphy doesn't sign here now, I wonder how much comes into play here. And again, I'll be honest, I don't care if Babcock, to be honest with you, with everything that's happened in the past, if he can come here and he's a guy the players think is the right guy. To me, this whole thing in the last month was more about the process of what the organization did. And again, it all started with pursuing Bruce Cassidy while you had Chris Knobloch under contract. That's, to me, it's the process and how the organization looked more so than what the next coach and who the next coach is going to be. And again, all indications point towards the fact that it's going to be Mike Babcock. Duke, you watching the big game today at Four Bells?
I fully intend to, Kev.
Yep.
I don't have anything else on tap, so I don't know why not. Jays play in the morning, so even that won't
right?
even that won't have an overlap. 11:35 first pitch. So unfortunately, you won't be able to listen to that on Sports 1440 today, but it does free up the Canada game this afternoon.
So 4 bells, not 4:07, 4 o'clock, right, Duke? Is that what it is?
Soccer is very precise. When they say the game starts at 7, that is when it starts.
Oh, it's so good. It is so good. So you say 2-0. I think 2-0. It would be nice to see. I don't think Davies gets into you.
I think you touched on this earlier. I think you're spot on where you say, like, you hope that you can control this game enough that doesn't even cross your mind as needing to be a possibility. But take a different angle to it. The game's out of hand, and I say out of hand, 2-0 in the final, however many minutes. Do you get him out there where there's no stakes just to test him out a little bit? Or do you say you get another whole week off before you have to play again, and what will likely or hopefully be a game for the pool? Do you just don't like playing in the final handful of minutes of this game if you're winning or losing? Like, it's soccer, it's such a different sport than, say, hockey, where, contact and all that, about the potential risk of somebody running you or something like that. Yeah, of course, a guy could, slide you, tackle you or something, but it's not as likely, right? There's not as much of a risk of injury just by being out there.
That game is in BC again, the Switzerland game, Canada, Swiss next Wednesday. So I think I'm correct in that.
Yeah,
right?
1 o'clock kickoff on Wednesday.
So that's at BC Place or Vancouver Stadium, whatever you want.
It is still called BC Place because there's no corporate affiliation, right? So BC Place, Vancouver.
Whatever.
It rolls right up the tongue.
So anyway, yeah, sure does. Man, I can't wait for that one too. So that's a 1 o'clock start next week. And again, hey, Duke, don't put the cart before the horse, right? Beat Qatar.
That's what I mean. Like, you got to win this. You got to win this game.
Beat Qatar.
And hopefully in like authoritative fashion. Like, it's don't let it be close. You're a better team than them.
That's right. Oberg leads the U.S. Open 2 under ahead of a whack of golfers that are
what a snake
1 under. Yeah, Oberg, he's just really messing with our heads here in our Sports 1440 pool. I see that Josh is in last place right now. Oh boy. Could you imagine? You know what we'll do? Duke, we'll have the PGA lunch and then just stay there and drink all day and then have supper.
Well, I was actually going to ask, like, if Josh were to lose again, does it just upgrade and he has to take us out for a steak dinner or something instead?
Well, no, because no, because SKS is married to the.
Well, but we still got the Open Championship, so we still can get back to the castle.
Yeah, no, he's married to the castle. SKS, that's his. I mean, that's the lifeblood for him, man. Coming up top of the hour, it is Fantasy Frenzy with
the former Rochep T-Bird,
Connor Halley, and the Duke of Delburne, 12-2. The Lowdown with Ellen Mitchell, 2 till 6. Jason Gregor drives us home with the Jason Gregor Show. We got Fox Sports all night long. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock with Eddie Steele, who's back in business, talking about hard-boiled eggs, flights from Toronto, and the whole bit. Before that, time now for a Sports 1440 update brought to you by AWS Welding Supplies in Nisku. Product sales, servicing, calibrating, free same-day delivery of in-stock items to Leduc, Nisku, and South Edmonton. Your one-stop shop for all things welding. That is awswelding.ca. Hey, thanks everyone for listening this morning, and thanks for the great text. I know that it's going to keep humming regarding the Mike Babcock situation here on Fantasy Frenzy. The guys got you covered, no question about that. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your Thursday. We'll see you back tomorrow at 7 with Eddie. Until then, here is the Duke.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
The NHL has concluded its investigation into Mike Babcock and alleged misconduct in his time with the Columbus Blue Jackets. He has been cleared to coach again in the National Hockey League. The exact quote is, "The league has completed its review of Mike Babcock's tenure in Columbus and of certain alleged conduct associated therewith. Investigation concluded that even in a light least favorable to Mr. Babcock, there is no current basis to restrict his employment in the league." Elsewhere, Washington Capitals extending head coach Spencer Carberry to a multi-year deal, and the Boston Bruins announcing earlier on this morning that this upcoming season they will be retiring Stanley Cup champion, former captain Patrice Bergeron's number 37. World Cup action today. Team Canada's second match in group play, taking on Qatar from Vancouver. Kickoff coming at 4 o'clock. Elsewhere, Czechia leading South Africa 1-0 at the half from Atlanta. in LA. Switzerland will play Bosnia-Herzegovina at 1. And in the nightcap, host nation Mexico taking on Korea from Guadalajara. That kicking off at 7. In the majors today, just 9 games total, including the Blue Jays wrapping up their set in Boston against the Red Sox, looking for the sweep. First pitch coming just after 11:30. Trey Savage on the hill for Toronto. And tonight in the WCL, Riverhawks will try and avoid the sweep of the hands of the Wenatchee Apple Sox. First pitch just after 7:30. And the U.S. Open, round 1 underway after a fog delay this morning from Shinnecock Hills on Long Island. Ludwig Oberg, the Swede, atop the leaderboard right now. He's 2 under through 10. High Canadian at the moment. Nick Taylor, who is +2 through 8 holes. Coming up on Sports 1440, it's Fantasy Frenzy with Hallie and Douglas. I'm Brandon Douglas at your Sports 1440 Up.